dun, dun, dun. I didn't want you to change. I only want what to change is priorities rearranged, and now it's in my way. Your stare was holding, ripped jeans, skin was showing. Hot night, wind was blowing. Where you think you're going, baby? Hey, I just met you, and this is crazy, but you have fish tanks. So call me maybe. If all the other girls that try to chase me, they don't have fish tanks. So call me maybe. Yeah, man, it's an auction day, bro. It was a auction day. You ever just been in the auction like, before you came into my life, I missed you so bad. Yo, that song came on my shuffle earlier. I don't know what's going on. What's up, beautiful people? How's it going? Okay, public service announcement, bro. We got a diabolical being within our midst in this community, okay? There's an unscrupulous individual pulling heists and all sorts of skullduggery, okay? I gotta talk about this, all right? What's up, Louise? How's it going? Yo, if you getting in them RoboCops, don't even put them in the store, bro. Just hand them over, man. Hand them over. A couple fish says Otocinclus, not Otto. Well, we just changed it. Oli. Okay. What's up, JP? Couple fish, of course. Andrew, Beto, how's it going? You know, whenever you spell something incorrectly, it's just engagement bait, right? Everyone's got a comment to correct. I'm just gonna leave it up. No, okay, I'll probably change it. Anyways, what was I saying? Okay, so what's up, Jesse? It's come to my attention. What? Ben is out of control. All right, he's out of control. Yo, this guy is following me everywhere, everywhere on social media, and it's gotten to the point he's made spoof accounts of me on TikTok. So he joins live and it says "In my takes joined," and then he requests to get on there. And he gets up because people invite him on because they think he's me, but he doesn't do it with just me. He does it with other people, with the fish butcher. Oh my gosh, bro, this guy's committing identity fraud now. So listen, beware. All right, there might be an account that looks like it's me. Double check the username, okay? If the headline name is "In my tanks," but the username not "In my tanks," it's Ben. He wants a free fish tank. I don't know what to tell you, okay? So, for people on the replay, if you want to talk about the Otocinclus, you know, and maybe you're watching this after I've corrected the title, and you know, a couple of fish can be happy. I'm gonna talk about that after the auction stuff. All right, so you know, skip ahead. We're gonna start with the auction stuff. But what's up, Liam Robinson? How's it going? So we'll go with the recap of the ACM auction first, because I know all the auction fiends. Now I'm realizing more and more people that actually go to these things like to watch the stream after it's happened, so we can all just reminisce on the good time, the crazy deals, the steals, and the surprises. So it's become more fun as more people that are actually there kind of join in. So, you know, the Scotties, the Scots, all these people, you know, Bomba, Joe, all the friends, Andrew. I'm not gonna, I gotta dox every single local person that goes to these things. But yeah, so it's become a bit more fun as we all have something in common we can discuss. Pond Puppy said, "I miss full auto." Was it full auto? What's full auto? Maybe we're onto something. This is the new campaign. Maybe no one can breed Otocinclus because they got one T. You know what I mean? You need two T's. Anyone ever think about that? Yeah, that's kind of what I thought. Hey, shout out! Only have a semi-auto now. Wait, hold up. These two little tetras swimming around in the background should be, unless I've somehow seriously messed up, these should be some young yellow gold Kogel tetra situations. So that's kind of cool. I got to actually work on getting more of those. But unless those are somehow a diamond tetra that has fooled me, which I don't think it is, I've gotten 2 juveniles of some Kogel tetras. So hey, that's fun. All right, let's pull this shit up. So went to the auction today. I think the main event was, or the talk was the black worm discussion. I was not on time to make it for that. The club meeting started at 1. I got there at like 2:50. To my surprise, though, the auction still hadn't started, so we were kind of good. I didn't bring too much today. I rolled in a little bit late, but turns out I was just right on time, so it was no big deal. But yeah, there was still a decent amount of lots. I think over 300 lots in the auction, so still a decent amount of items, even though it wasn't like a super event or anything like that. I didn't buy any fish today. I bid on a few, but there wasn't really anything I was looking for in this auction, so I managed to save myself there. All right, here we go. Join, I'm showing my fish tank. Ben, you've harassed me too much today. What, you're in the Discord? Okay, should we go see if Ben actually has a fish tank? Hold up. Let me see. 1 second. Okay, I'm in the thing. He's not showing his fish tank. All right, I want to let it be known. I see no fish tank. Okay, here we go. Yep. There's a little loading symbol. I'm not seeing no fish tank. So listen, Ben, here's the thing. I've given you a chance here, but you can't even get the Wi-Fi up in time. So I'll be honest. Ben, we're going to have to do this another time because I got to get into this auction. But I gave you a fair try. But you're going to have to get the Wi-Fi up on this one. All right? I still don't see a fish tank. Okay. That being said, listen, Ben, it just wasn't meant to be. Okay. Now that my digital stalker has been given a little bit more time, just enough attention for him to continue doing the things that he does, let's get back into this auction. Scotty's catching up on double time. Just skip, bro, Scotty. We ain't talked about anything yet. Ben, you ain't showing. I joined. There was no fish tank. I am now officially putting you in timeout for 24 hours. Olé. All right. So, great auction, Scotty said. Scotty did have an interesting auction. Now the thing is, usually we do the guessing, right? Let's see if we can do some of that. But I'm just going to go ahead and say that we can't because they have the setting on where the sold price is on the front. So we're going to get the answers from the beginning. But let's just go ahead and let me show you my seller's report and we'll start there. And then we'll get into some of the nitty-gritty surprises and things like that. So let me go to selling. I'm going to go to my invoice and let's look at what happened with my lots here, okay? SVC said, I just checked and Ben does have a video of his fish up. Bro, I joined and there was no fish. It's not loading for me. I'm in there now and it's not loading for me. So it's just not working on my end. It's unfortunate. If you screenshot it and send it to us, I can bring it up on screen. But all right, here we go. So here's my seller's report. Nope, that's not the one. Ben, you got me thrown off now. I've lost all my tabs, and it's all because of you. You know? I feel like from now on, the rest of the stream, anytime something goes wrong, I'm gonna blame Ben. I'm sorry. I'm just gonna blame Ben. Here we go. This is getting more to where we need to be. Bam. So, just sent some screenshots. Okay, I'll take a look in a second. Scotty said, guess how much we're gonna get to that, Scotty. Beto said, hashtag blame Ben. Yeah, if you think we should blame Ben for everything wrong this stream, hashtag blame Ben in the chat, okay? Let's start. This is the movement we all needed. So I brought, how many lots is this? I brought 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Okay, 18 lots, but I think I may have miscounted by 1. Okay. 18 lots. And here is how I did. So I bapped some Northobranchius corythaus. All right, some very young ones. This did better than I expected. Okay, $15 for those. There were 4 in the bag. They're kind of small, but it was 2 pairs pretty much. I got Parrot, got Blame Bin. Yo, shout out to Cinnamon. Cinnamon was bidding on everything. Very nice lady. I didn't see Kermit today. That's a little dog. I actually met Cinnamon at the Clash, but I've seen her at the last 2 meetings now, so I feel like I really see how they operate in these auctions. They're going crazy. I bapped 4 of my Riverless Pivot. I had the worst photo ever of them. It's a nice little Riverless. There's 4 of them. They're both sexes in the bag, from what I could tell. And it's a nice little Riverless fish. You know, you got a good killifish for when people look up the photos, they can't find any. It's one of those ones, you know. I got $25 for that, which was a lot more than I expected, honestly. So shout out to Cinnamon. And then the Firing Danios, I put a bag of, I think I said 4, but I think there's like 6-ish of them in there. The Firing Danios are nice. People have been liking them more than I expected at these auctions, actually. Here's a photo I took of one of them. Nice little fish. And it went for $24. $24 for the Firing Danios, and Flashing Boulders bought these, actually. So someone that be in the TikTok lives and stuff. Cinnamon said I got some awesome killies. Yeah, Cinnamon did go crazy. Sky said I never heard those. I need to look them up. As soon as I seen Cinnamon's hand go up, mine automatically. Yeah, Cinnamon was not someone to bid against. So I got some more killies coming this year in BAP. If I had more time, I would have brought some. I got some Funderla Pancheck Sheely Red Dot. I should have some Striatum Lamborine, and then hopefully some Galaris. But stay tuned. Stay tuned for those. We'll see. Okay. So yeah, the Danios, that went for 24. Can't be mad about that. I did the Diamond Tetras. I bapped. I got these from Just One More Fish. Shout out Jesse, Just One More Fish. These are actually a picture of them in his tanks, but I did end up taking some of these home. So this was, I could accurately say this was the parents of the fry. I had 4 of them in the bag. 2 were pretty small. 1 was smallish, and 1 was a good size. And this was for BAP. I ended up getting, they sold for $14. So that was a lot better than I expected, honestly. But Scotty said I have a lone male Sheeli. He's getting old. Oh, man. Cinnamon says I love a good deal. There you go. All right, my Anacharis went for $3. I blame Chad. Okay, he was selling everything else. When mine went up, he said, "What's this water weed?" Okay, so it went for 3. But the guppy grass, that went for 8. Oh, the guppy grass, that's not a weed. Oh, this is a premium plant. The Christmas moss, it was a decent portion, but it went for 14, which I was surprised about because the moss hasn't been that good to me recently. I did 2 lots of my normal, yellow Neocaridina, and those went better than I kind of expected. One bag went for 22, and the other bag went for $28. Now, remember, the club cut from this is pretty brutal. It's 30%. It's pretty massive. So it is sad. Like the 28, I get 19. But I think probably once I complete enough BAP stuff, I will probably be bringing a lot less. I'll be honest. Okay, red root floaters. They didn't go as crazy. Like they went for what? One bag went for 18 at CCY. It was ridiculous. I did bring some nice bags of red root floaters, but one bag went for 9. One bag went for 8. Can't complain about that. It's a pretty good deal. Okay, Ben's agent is in the chat. Now here's the thing, Ben, I appreciate it. I want to look at your fish tanks, but I just think you've gotten too entitled. Okay, you're not entitled to my time. You've been harassing me constantly, and it has a cost. And that cost is, I just feel like banning you every time I see you. I might just ban you because it's raining outside, and now we got #blame Ben. So now it's raining. It's your fault. All right. So you got Liam Robinson in here. I know that's your fault. I just stubbed my toe. It's been time. Scotty says good day for shrimp. Yep. The isopods did better than usual. I bring them to every auction for like a year now. So, the price has steadily gone down, which is, what you kind of want. That was the whole point of me breeding them to start with. So a bag of 10 went for 15. Not bad at all. 2 panda cories. Listen, pandas are the thing to breed just in general. But yo, people at auctions love spending money on panda cories. The CCY 3 went for $40. My two little panda cories, they're very cute, so I think they're worth it. My two little panda cories, they managed to go for $18, which I was surprised by. Now, retail wise, I still think that's, some places sell them for higher than $9 each retail. But it's not like it's a terrible deal or anything, but I'm just always surprised when I see things in auctions go close to retail prices. All right, I brought a sexable size, probably albino bristlenose pleco that went for $7. And I brought a small red bristlenose pleco that went for $4. A bag of dwarf sag / val, I had no idea what it is, went for $5. And then my 4 blue ram's horns, which I need to BAP these. Oh, I used a picture from the internet. Whoops. Yeah, I've been so lazy with the photos. Let's get into this auction. January. There we go. View lots. All right. So, where do we even start? You can sort by most popular. Let's sort by most popular. Were these in here? I must have missed this. Were these in the auction today, actually? The Vittatus? I totally missed those. Those are in here. All right, let me just reset, because sometimes auction.fish be showing lots. Okay, it was in this auction. Okay, cool. So we got some Pseudomygale Vittatus that went for $40. I totally missed that. Apparently it's 4 of them. So again, that's about retail price. Some things like the Pseudomygales people are willing to pay money for sure. We got the panda cories. 4 panda cories, apparently given to ACM from Baltimore County Animal Control. So they got $25 for them. I missed this one too. They were towards the beginning. Okay. Yeah, I missed them. That's not too bad actually. 4 for $25. That's not bad. Hoplosoma stirbi, some stirbi baps. $20 for those. I can't be too mad about that as a buyer or as a seller. I mean, stirbi are a relatively expensive cory sometimes. Nice little healthy group of juveniles. Look at all this information. 0.75 inches long. You got a damn ruler? I never know how big any fish is. I'm like, it's small, it's medium. That's like the measurements I understand. These are comfortably eating dry food. In my case, it's Akari sinking wafers and 300 to 500 micron golden pearls. But I'm sure they'll eat whatever you have on hand. Excellent addition for warmer community tanks. Good descriptions are underrated, bro. This description was probably worth $5, honestly. I had $5 to the price just for a good description. Very nice, very nice. All right, $20 for 4 young stirbi. A 186 element says sliding in to show some support. What's up, 186? Appreciate you. You're one of the best price guessers last time. Why would anyone want? There were multiple animal control cories here. I didn't know people surrendered things like corridors to animal control, but there you go. All right, this was a surprise to me. People actually paying money for a fish tank. Recently, fish tanks have been going for very little in the auctions I've gone to. Like, fish tanks have gone for practically nothing. But bow fronts apparently seem to be a completely different game. So there was a 36-gallon bow front going on over here. And, oh, Abdallah was selling it. Oh, shout out to Abdallah. He's cool. I'm glad he made some money off of this. So it went for $41, and here's a picture of the bow front here. So $41 off this bow front. That's not bad. That's not bad at all for a fish tank in one of these auctions. Now, I do think bow fronts, I don't know if they're like not as common in stores or something, but people do seem to, if you like bow fronts, you do seem to value them more than other tanks. This guy says, I need to breed cories that go for good money every auction. I've been saying cories are like the best auction thing ever. People will pay retail prices for a lot of cories. Gotta keep the quarries out the streets. Yeah, we can't. We gotta control the quarries, man. Animal control gotta get on this ASAP. All right. So the bow front, that did pretty well actually. We have some rummy nose rasbora, swabra resplendens. For those, this went for $14 to bidder 191. It's a decent amount. We got some strawberry rasbora borers. This is another donation. These went for $20 for 5 of them, which again is not that far from where you can buy them in some stores. So these are some popular fish. I still haven't seen anyone pop out with breeding a bunch of chili rasboras before. There was a 2-liter bottle of Easy Green, big ass bottle. Went for $54 to Abdallah. He got that bow front tank money, so he was fine with winning this one. We got one of these 3D printed fry trays Brenda put in here. I wonder if she got permission from Lowell. I'm assuming yes, right? Since they got his permission for the workshop. This sold for $37 to Abdallah. Abdallah he just spent his money on anything. This guy's irresponsible as hell. Shell said I got my 50G bow front for free. Maven said I got my net. You guys are the worst. Every time someone talk about buying a fish tank, all the people that got a free fish tank gotta come into the chat. I get it. We get free fish tanks. Oh my gosh, these braggarts. These braggarts in the chat. Oh, now I need to finish getting it set up. See, if you paid money for that, you might have actually set it up. See? Okay, we got aquarium co-op community pellets for $11. Oh my god, bro. This is crazy. They bid up the worst food. Where's the magic feed at? We got the Blackworm Breeder Box Demo Kit. $28 is actually not bad. I didn't see everything that was in this kit, but I know it has blackworms, and it has a fluval breeding box, and a few other things. And the breeding box itself is probably like at least $15, so that probably was a good deal. I should have bid on this. Inkbird heater controller. This went for $13. You can see here. It came with the instruction manual and the box. That seems pretty promising. That seems pretty promising to me. Maven said I can't help. I'm so poor I hustle. What's up, Barbara? How's it going? Hope you had a good New Year's Eve as well. This guy said the fluval alone is probably worth $20. Yeah. That's not bad. All right. This person, we got a aquarium co-op air pump with battery for $21. Hey, just to let you know in advance, they sell backup diaphragms on the website, all right? Just in case you need it, my boy. All right? Just in case you need it. Okay, air pump. Black neon tetras. 2 of them. The description says, looks like a pair. Probably, but not, no 100% sure. Well, that was good enough for someone. $7 for the 2 black neon tetras, the bidder 21. Not too bad. We got another donated Corridorus triniolatus. 3 of them went for $16. So, not too bad. Donation, the club gets all that, so 16. Can't be mad at that. 186 says, unfortunately, I always pay full price for all my aquarium staff. I support my local LFSs. Oh my gosh, money bags over here supporting the economy single-handedly. Okay, this driftwood went for $5. Wait, was that the driftwood piece I saw? Because there's a pretty big driftwood piece. I don't know if I got a good photo of it though. So, but there's a pretty big driftwood piece. If it was that one, then that's a pretty good price. I'm not gonna lie. Maven said I got 3 fluval 407s for free. Oh my gosh, man. The hustlers. The hustlers are here. Okay, let's see. This was crazy, bro. You gotta put a lid on the tanks. You put a lid on the tank and you clean it up, man, you'll get it. You can get some money for the tank. Okay? Take notes, Ben. 10-gallon tank with a glass lid. They bid this puppy up to $27. And look at that. It looks relatively clean. Got a nice lid. The back plastic part isn't completely jacked up like it usually is. It's honestly not bad. It's not bad. It's not a bad deal. It's not. I know everyone's got. I got that for free. I get it. It's possible, but it's not a bad deal. Yo, don't tell me the big real wood sold for 5 and the small fake wood sold for 7. Or is this? Because that's all when that was plastic. Sky said that was a nice tank. Yeah, it was nice. Okay. Let's see. We got the new Amazonas magazine. So there was a talk on breeding blackworms in breeder box, and it was published. Mandy was published in Amazonas. So there was a Amazonas magazine signed by the blackworm breeder box method inventor, Mandy, and it sold for $6. People just don't appreciate inventors as much these days, man. Come on, let's get the signature up. Now this was an interesting one. The Indian glassfish. There was 4 of them, and it went for $20. It's a unique fish you don't see in auctions. So like I thought there was gonna be some interest, but honestly, I was surprised that people bid this one up. Went to bidder 21. It's a cool fish. Barbara said, one of the few free tanks I got broke when I wasn't home. Popped a hole at the side and water shot out. Lost 3/4 of the fish. Not fun. Yeah, no, that is the other side of it. That is the other side of it. Ben said, join now. I got to work. Yo, Ben, I'm working right now. Go make another account. All right. Because I just hid the messages of this one. So, sheesh. Okay. Send me a picture, a post-it note. You know what I mean, Ben? All right. There was a 4.1 gallon UNS ultra clear tank with a lid with the mat. I bid on it a few times. I didn't really want it too much. I know people that are looking for cubes. So I probably would have just traded it with them. Here is the tank. So this is apparently a UNS ultra clear. It's got the lid, pretty thick glass. Yeah, it's nice. It's nice. It went for $16. That's not too bad for a UNS cube, honestly. It's pretty good. The 7-gallon cube with a pedestal. You can't tell, but it's like floating off the ground. The center pedestal section is here. That went for $17. So 16 for the 4.1 and 7 for the 17 for the 7-gallon, and bidders 191 and 150 bought those respectively. Cheryl said, I tried to get a 407 for $50 the other day. The LFS beat me to it and marked it up to 130. Robbery. Yeah, that's why I tell people, don't when the stores want to buy certain fish from you for 1/3 the retail price, go tell them to go suck a cock, bro. Stores have been ripping off people for so long. It's actually ridiculous. And then they want to just give you credit. All right? Eat my ass, bro. That's what I got. Eat my ass, bro. Eat my ass. All right. This is where the money is again, okay? Bronze Cories. Now, I just decided to stop breeding my bronze Cories because I want to focus on some other stuff. I put them in the community tank, you know? But even bronze Cories command some market, okay, at these auctions. So we got 6 bronze Cories, a nice group size, went for $25 to bidder 139. Not bad at all. Not bad at all. I think what you want to look for is a price that's like enough for the seller to be happy, because you're not really going to these auctions to make too much money, I think most people, but also a price that's low enough that the buyer got a deal. And I think this is a good sweet spot. You know what I mean? The second lot, $22 to bidder 134, and that's for another group of 6 bronze Cories. No, wait. Yeah, okay, 2 groups of 6 bronze Cories in here that were donations. One for 25, one for 22. Maven said albino and Aeneas usually goes for more than bronze. I think last time the albinos were here, they did go lower than this. So it does depend. SPC said, geez, I have 100 bronze Cories. Sounds like I need to take some to auction. I've been trying to tell you. Hey, by the way, bro, I was talking to someone on Bomba's Live. They were talking about going to Father Fisher's store. They bought some German blue rams. I think they spent like $40 on 2 of them. I was like, damn, bro, you might have just bought my friend's rams. You need to be charging Father Fish more for them. All right. Black ruby barbs. They went for $5. There are 3 of them. That's a nice barb, bro. I actually missed these. I might have a bid on them. But the black ruby bars are nice. So Toonie Loon was selling these. Yeah, I would have bought those. Shout out Toonie Loon. Toonie Loon's chill. Okay, $5 for 3 of them. That seems like a pretty good steal right there. Maven said, I tried to get rid of all my friends' bronzes and no one wanted them. Damn. Maven said, I've got black and gold rams, so if anyone wants, I'm cheap. Ooh. Cheryl said, I so would have bid on the black rubies. I want more. Yeah, I would have bid on those for sure. How much are they retail? Bye. Yeah, they're like $4 to $6 retail, looks like. So you basically got 3 for the price of 1. This cute little nano aquarium hang-on back filter went for $5. I thought about bidding on this just to turn it into an air-powered HOB, since that's all I care about these days. I don't know anything about angelfish and what they should be worth. This bag of 2 angelfish went for $12. A lot of them look nice to me. I just don't know anything about them. The Seora Submersible Light. This went for $10. I actually didn't even go and look at these. I forgot. I'm seeing $15 for similar ones. Look at this one's $30. So I guess depending on the length, it's not expensive. It's not an expensive light though. So $10 as the seller, can't be mad at that. That seems like all right to me. Toonie sold the single Galaris. Yeah. The single Galaris. I didn't actually even... I need to put my glasses on for these, man. Okay, here's the big money item, okay? Big Steve has been cleaning up at every auction I've been to, and it's for a good reason. Big Steve is the hottest up-and-coming hobbyist breeder in the United States. Not only that, the best breeder of Nanochromis transvestitis and possibly red lizard whiptails in the United States, possibly the world on the Nanochromis. But he brings a lot of nice stuff to the auctions. A lot of nice stuff. And today he brought Buse on some lava rock. And it was a nice piece of Buse. And it even had a flower on it, okay? And I didn't even notice the flower, but that's why Joe outbid me apparently, because she knew what she was getting into. Maybe if I'd seen the flower, I might have gone a little bit harder. I started out the bid at $25. I was trying to, play the game. But then as soon as I saw Joe bid on it, I'm like, great. A plant addict is bidding against me. Like, this is probably not going to go well. You know what I mean? Here's a picture of it up close in the bag. He got on these fancy bags. There's a nice big piece, golf ball portion of Boost on lava rock. And that went for $32 to bidder 139. So I did try and get that one, but they were committed. Nick, you doing a Big Steve fish room tour? Bro, I have to. Cheryl said, I sell quarter to half dollar size angels for $15 to $20. People can't get enough of them. Yeah, I want to do angelfish. The thing is, it's got to be one that I like. There's a few I like, but it's usually the wild type ones. I don't have the setup for them now anyway. But, I just feel like I would want a specific angelfish. You know what I mean? Parrot said he secured it really well. Yeah, man. Big Steve got that boost on him. I heard he got tubs and tubs. I don't know what's up with that guy. He opened a pet store. He just likes to brag, but he's the one to watch, man. I'm telling you. He's breeding and buying everything. Absolutely everything. And he's just got tanks and tanks of this stuff. I don't know. Watch out. These green dragon guppy coals, all males, still went for $14. I mean, they look nice in this photo, but usually guppies without females I see go for less, but they must have been nice enough, man. People still bid on them, so not too bad. All right, we got a new co-op air pump with battery. This one went for $21 as well. The bidder 144. Then another submersible aquarium light for $10. And then this was the big drama of the day. Okay, I was having a hard time. It was such a chaotic environment. So to set the scene, the auction starting at 3. It's supposed to start at 2. So I guess the activity, whatever, went long. But then there's a few technical errors here and there. But then this was the moment where it's hard to focus because I'm sitting next to the person that bought this. Well, not next to, but near. And they were really upset and angrily whispering for an extended period of time and going back and forth with the auction people about getting a refund, which I think they eventually did. But here's what the drama was, right? So this is a lot of a calico bristlenose pleco. And if you know anything about plecos in the chat, put one in the chat if you think you know what a calico pleco is. If you think you could look at a picture of a pleco and determine if it's a calico pleco, put a 1 in the chat right now, all right? Because we're going to see the test. So this is one calico bristlenose pleco. Went up approximately 2 inches. I'm seeing some 1s come in the chat. And the lady bid on it. And then when the bag was brought to her, she was almost immediately like, this is not a calico bristlenose pleco, like very loud. She like immediately was making it clear she felt like she had been had and wanted her money back. So I was having a hard time just enjoying and relaxing, and like it's already kind of chaotic at auctions, but like this kind of situation was playing out over here, like the angry whispering. And I'm gonna show you the pleco in question, okay? And I see Jesse put a 1 in the chat, Andrew put a 1 in the chat, Cam Chan said Karen. Okay, you guys be the determiner. Okay, you guys be the determiner. Scotty said she was loud and angry. Yeah, she was quite upset, and it was very hard to miss because they were talking angrily. Okay, so you guys tell me if you would also be upset if you bid on this lot. This is the photo that came up. This is the description, and this was the pleco you received. Okay, what do you think? Was this lady right to be mad? She thought she bought a calico for 15, and this was what was in the bag. What do you think, Karen? I'm gonna let you guys. I'm just gonna put the photo up. I'll put another photo up. You guys tell me. All right, you guys tell me. And to my mods, you have permission to ban Ben. The first message he says for the rest of the stream. Hey Nick, can you put up a pic of my Mitraclima long pelvic Mdoka to see if anyone here would be interested in the colony breeding project? Yeah, man, send me a pic. I'll put it up. Scotty said she should have looked at it before bidding. So that's like the thing that people say, but I'm gonna be honest, dog. Well, I'll give both sides of it, but I'm just gonna see what people said in the chat first, because I see both sides of the argument. Okay, I do. I know what you got, Nick. You're the ultimate hater. I get it, but no, I actually do see both sides. But here's the thing: like when she first said it, they're like, "Well, they have bad color in the bag." I mean, come on, dog. The other thing is that this picture is clearly misleading. Okay, so let me start with the one side of things. So what Scotty's saying, they should have looked at it before bidding, is technically true. Like, I agree with that. Like, people always ask me, "Oh, what you put in the auction?" I respond, "Did you look at the site?" You should look at the bags and you should look at the listings before you bid on things, and you should know the lot number. That's technically true. And the reason why that's important is because if the sale isn't final, it's going to be chaos, because it is a lot of work to run an auction. If someone's got a dispute and then suddenly another person, like, it could get bad fast. So having the sale be final is an important policy for a lot of reasons. Okay, Cam Chan said got catfished. Sky said, I do also suppose Chad should have clarified it wasn't calico. And Zebra said the problem is tables can be quite crowded. So that's true. So for instance, the tables can be crowded. A lot of people at these auctions, there's a wide range of ages. There's a wide range of people that maybe you have a bad leg, you have a bad arm, you have bad balance. You just don't want to put yourself in a crowded space for a lot of reasons, and you just don't get a chance to look at the bag. Also, I miss a lot of bags too. Sometimes bags aren't there on time. Like, all my stuff was late as hell, so it would have been hard for you to get a chance to look at it because I showed up at the last second. But here's the thing. This picture, you're supposed to at least put a picture that represents what you're selling. These have no resemblance. All right, so we're already at one level of misleading. Okay, because if you call it a calico, then we're gonna expect one thing. But if you call it a calico and you put up this photo, then that's probably the expectation. What's up, Jose? Skipper's auction and Jeff Pelham's auction are pretty simple and sweet. Never had a problem. Easy schmeezy. Yep. What's up, Sweet Polly? What's up, Joyfit? So I get why she was upset. Here's the other thing also. It went to $15, right? So this was like $3 or $5, whatever. But it went to $15, which is kind of a lot for these auctions, believe it or not. Like that's like a decent amount. Nick, read the fine print below the pic. With the image being automatically added. I mean, that doesn't really change anything though, because like you can replace the automatically added image. But here's the thing. Mandy has sold plecos as calicos before that look exactly like this. So I think part of the problem is that the president of the club is selling something that's mislabeled. It's very impossible to get Mandy to really listen to anyone, so I doubt any of them want to deal with arguing with her about it. So I get the sale is final argument, but like realistically, this was that person's first auction. Just refund them the $15, bro. What I think that is what eventually happened, but like I'm just saying, don't try to gaslight them about it looks bad in the bag or whatever. This ain't a calico pleco. I think they were saying like oh well, one of the parents is red or whatever. Okay, then put it's like got calico genetics. Like, I'm sorry, dog. Everyone knows what a calico is supposed to look like. There's nothing you could tell me to say that this is a calico. If you would put the photo up that was accurate, you would never have gotten $15 for it. So I do think that is misleading. I think it's impossible not to see it as misleading. Okay, so realistically, the only reason this happened and was a problem, what? The biggest problem I have is Julia wanted to do one thing and Mandy overruled her. Julia's the auction chair. She makes that decision. What was the ruling? Did she get a refund? I don't even know. But like I'm saying, it's just $15. So like just to avoid the hassle, I personally would have been like, whatever, give the money back. It's not that big of a deal. But I understand why sales being final in the auction is an important policy to enforce. So I'm not going to just say that there's no reason for them to be hard line about it. But like, I would just say the lesson to take away is like, guys, we all need to work to make sure, and I need to do this too, just put photos of the actual fish you're putting in the auction would solve a lot of problems. A lot of the things I put in, I used images from the internet too. I did try and find images that were representative of the fish, but realistically, we all should probably work to just take pictures of the actual fish as we're catching them or whatnot and make that the photo. It is a lot of work. It does take more time, but it probably would be better. Scotty says if it was buyer's first meeting, the image was wrong and the auctioneer didn't clarify, I give money back. So that's the other two things. It's like someone is their first auction. You never know how much experience people have in auctions either. You know what I mean? So I think if maybe someone like Big Steve or Scotty or something had gotten this, how they reacted would probably be different because they know the sale is final thing. But maybe they would have still said something afterwards. I do know whoever's bought the calico plecos before that were listed like this and then didn't get what they're expected. I know that they didn't really want to say anything because it was like, whatever. But they didn't pay $15 for it, I don't think. So, Steve said the girl was wrong, but so was the seller. I'm totally fine with that take. That's why I said I truly see both sides of it. But like, again, I think Mandy knows enough about fish that this should never be listed as a calico. Like, you're just opening yourself up for problems. Like, I put in pleco, and I just started calling my plecos red plecos because I don't really know that much about plecos. But I'm like, okay, super reds kind of have like this grading to them. Some of them got black spots and stuff. Like, what if someone decides my pleco has enough black spots to be calico? So I'm like, let me just try and be safe. I'm just gonna call them red plecos, just like I do with my shrimp. I call them red shrimp, yellow shrimp, blue shrimp. I'm not gonna try and I'm just gonna put a general description. You know what I mean? Because it just lessens the chance that someone expects something different than what they got. But I would say that was like one of the biggest disruptive things was this situation, just because it's not a big room, so there was a lot of like angry whispering going on about this. But I think they got it worked out. Steve said that the real issue is the person who's overruled. Wait, what was the overruled decision though? Like, overruled how? What did Julia want to do? Because I like Julia. Julia's really nice. Scotty said if it was the buyer's... Okay, I read that. If it was the buyer's first meeting and the image was wrong and the auctioneer didn't clarify, I'd give money back. Yeah. I think, and again, I don't know if Chad looked, but like, I'm telling you, even if Chad noticed or Steve noticed, honestly, I don't think either of them... I don't know if either of them would have clarified, because I don't think that they would want to deal with Mandy disagreeing with them. Okay? Because she was still trying to defend that it was a calico. And I understand. Like, no one really feels like arguing with anyone. So, I get it. Steve said we just wanted to relist it. Mandy said all sales were final. Yeah. I mean, she's getting $15 for a horrible quality fish sold under something that it isn't. Of course she wants to. Of course she wants the final sale. Of course. All right. If it's not up to the auctioneer to determine the calico-ness of a pleco in the middle of the auction. I don't know, Steve. I do think the auctioneer... I don't think it's their responsibility, but auctioneers often do clarify the conditions of things if they think that there's more information required than was provided on the listing. But that's what I'm saying. You saying it's not up to auctioneers is exactly what I'm saying. Like, I just don't think they would have brought it up even if they did notice, because it's like talking to a brick wall, you know. We got some frontal Pancha Gardner Eye Gold from Alex R. I really love Gardner Eye Golds. This strain that he has looks a little bit different than mine. Like, you see this photo, and that's one thing that's interesting about the gold Gardner Eyes. I've noticed they have a lot of variation. Like, look at this. So this gold Gardner Eye, you got like a white body and some blue and red and yellow on the fins, right? But then over here, you got a Gardner Eye that's kind of just like yellow in general, some greenish yellow in the fins, and just red spots all over. This is kind of the more like the ones that I have, where it's like a bit more green in the fins and yellow highlights. I don't know if anyone in the chat knows anything about gold Gardner Eye, but I'm just fascinated by the variation. Like this one is kind of like ones I've had as well, where it's like blue-green in the middle of the caudal and the bottom of this anal fin, and then just kind of like yellow and reds. But I really like gold Gardner Eye in general. These went for $5. They said they think it's a pair. In the bag, it was kind of hard to tell, but one of them did have longer fins, so I thought it looked like a pair. But killifish can be those ones that are hard at auctions, because not all of them do as well looking good in bags. Ross Baltimore said inside trading. Yeah. It was a fun, and you always gotta say, auctions are really hard to run. It takes a lot of work. And a lot of people at the ACM auction, when things are going wrong in the auction, you understand how many people are involved to make it run. So today there was a lot of people working very hard to try and make sure the auction went on smoothly. Everyone was happy and stuff, and you always got to appreciate that, because it's not something you can just roll over and do. So shout out to Julia. I feel like she puts on good auctions, and she's always very helpful, making sure you need to know where the bag goes. She's always asking if people have ideas on how to improve things. So I think she really cares about running a good auction. So shout out to Julia. Ross said certain people make auctions harder to beat. Auctions are simple as F. I don't think so. Ross said, I don't know how y'all do the auctions. I don't like the requirements of the website. It's too much. Have you tried my group auctions? Starts at the top. Ross said, weren't the elections supposed to happen today? I don't know, bro. I never believed the elections were going to happen, to be honest. So I don't has there been an auction at ACM yet? Because I don't remember one. I might have missed the last one. Because I think they usually do it around Christmas time. I don't think I made the last Christmas meeting, so I probably missed it. Okay, we had Northobranchius SB. It went for $8. It looked cool. But it's kind of hard with killies. Said LFS had it labeled as orange fin killie. So when you don't have the name for the killifish, it does kind of make people hesitant on bidding on it. But it did. Abdallah did go up to me and was like, "Yo, that guy looked great." So I'm surprised he didn't leave with it. Last December one got canceled due to the weather. Right. I meant the not last December, the 2024 December. 186 hit auctions last way too long. I do think they last way too long. That's why I like the mini swap most meetings. I like auctions. I just like them seasonally, and I like doing the mini swaps. ACM puts on unusually large auctions. They do a good job of making sure there's a lot of items, so it does tend to go longer. But the risk is when you have more items, if stuff does kind of go wrong, like you have this dispute or there's some bidder number, lot number issues, things can really start feeling tedious and fatiguing quickly. So I think today for everyone it was a little bit fatiguing, and it wasn't necessarily anyone's fault. Just there was a lot of just little stuff going on. Ross said 9 minutes per lot. I'd fall asleep. No, Chad was keeping it moving decently. They got another red ear slider turtle from the Baltimore County Animal Control. It went for $5 again, which I think was the minimum. Jesse said it's Ben's fault. I agree. Sky Sal's almost late for work. Jesus. You can check out anytime, Scotty. Come on. I went for $5, which all of them so far have, and it went to Abdallah again. So I don't know what kind of turtle hoarding situation he got going on, but shit. Some Neocaridina shrimp went for 20. It's a 10 cherry shrimp with very genetics. So basically some Neocoles went for $20. Man, we all got to breed some more shrimp, man. The Coles have been doing surprisingly well at every auction I've gone to. Ross said whoever this bin guy is, he's definitely his fault. Yep. This guy says one of my items was the last lot. I've been there, man. I've been there. Steve said this one lasted way longer than it needed to. Nick could called it better. Oh my gosh. I do need to do some auctioneering again, man. Yo, someone get me out to their club. I need some practice. Okay. $28 for a juvenile projected pair of Apistococcotoides triple red. This male looks pretty decent. I think that's not a bad deal at all. Not a bad deal at all. I mean, in the store, a pair of these would probably be $50. So I'm pretty cool with that. Steve is getting away with selling the same fish every auction, man. I don't know how he does it. Me or you, if we brought the same fish to an auction multiple times, the price would start going down. With Steve, he's got the glitch. He's just got fish that everyone wants. So every time he comes to the auction, the price just goes up. So, I mean, we've been showing off his luxury Apistogramma Hongsloy Red on stream. I mean, we've been looking at them. They look nice. And this auction, people agreed. I think he put a $30 minimum on them, which I was like, damn. But they went for $40 to bidder 531. I mean, it is a really nice pair, and that's still a great price. And I gotta tell you, if you're breeding fish, more and more, this is gonna become more and more important to people. Saying where the fish you bought came from. I know you're like, why does it care where the parents of the fish came from? I'm just telling you, it does matter, especially with things like bettas and things like that. He said here, the parents came from Aquatic Clarity. I think Aquatic Clarity actually got a particularly good line of Hongsloy Red a few months back. So, yeah, $40 for the pair of Hongsloy. Shout out Big Steve. That's $70 off of just 2 lots we've looked at from him so far. Cheryl said Nick can come to KC and be an auctioneer for out in March. We may actually get out of there on time. Okay. Shit, I might be down. Let me see what the listings look like. Ross said Big Steve was listening to the last Three Shades podcast. The last scripture I said. Yo, tell him the scripture again, Ross. Tell him. Make sure they know. Make sure they know. Big Steve cleaning up. I was happy for Val. Val got some money for guppies. These usually go for a lot less. People are usually very stingy on the guppies. But today, they're going all right. We got $26 for a group of about 8 of these violet mosaic guppy groups. And I heard people thought it was all males in the bag because they're so colorful. I need to get this line eventually because they do look really nice. So $26 to me seems more than fair, but I'm just happy to see Val get a little bit more money for the guppies because they are super nice. Pretty guppies, Cheryl says. Yep. Ross said, don't pimp yourself at the auction. Always have a fair minimum bid. It's good advice. I don't put minimum bids just because I just enjoy seeing, like, I enjoy the surprise of what stuff goes for. But if it was something I really cared about, it would definitely get a nice minimum bid. Speaking of Big Steve cleaning up, we got another red lizard catfish. Oh, this one he said was about 2.5 inches. I missed that. $25 for the catfish. So Steve, we're pocket watching. You're basically over 100. Okay, by my girl math. All right, you're over 100. Nick likes to gamble. I do. Beto says, when I put my goodie ads up, they definitely put that they came from Greg Sage. So you're right, it does matter. Yeah, if you can, say where you got, like, I'll say what LFS I bought them from sometimes. If it's a specific hobbyist, people around here know. Like, I'll usually say if my Achilles originally came from Chris Diaz, because he's a killifish legend. You know what I mean? So if you know where they came from, I think it's always good information. Because some people are looking for specific strains from specific stores or places. You might not know. People might have been looking at Aquatic Clarity thinking of buying the pistos from there. And then they see you bred the ones from there already, and they can just buy them here and save the shipping. So Steve said, I normally don't do minimums, but those epistles are worth every penny. Yep. And yes, provenance matters. Indeed. Bob said Neocaridina from Greg Sage. Is that real? I missed this one, but apparently a chocolate longfin bristlenose went for $20. Not bad. We got a lot of 20 mutt/coal feeder guppies went for $14. I can't even. Ross is dying at the Neos from Greg Sage comment. That's just hilarious. We had a blackworm starter culture go for $10. Not bad. I couldn't quite tell how many like ounces it was, but I could see it from a distance with no glasses, so there are definitely some blackworms in there. Okay, there was a 10-gallon with LED light and lid. This went for $15. It went for less than the other one with no light and lid, and I got a picture here. So I think it was... I don't think it's that one. It must be the one behind it. Okay, there's a tank behind this one that also has a lid and LED. So that one went for $15. We'll see what this front one went for. I was going to pick up another 10. I bid on it a few times. I just didn't feel like spending money today. Because I was like, I'll save the money for the next auction. There's just nothing I really wanted too much. Scotty said that one did not look as good as the other. Okay. Ross said still raising up a big batch of Imperial Lapis Tetra. Yo, I'm hoping to join you soon, bro. I just moved the Corys out my Imperial Lapis Tetra tank. And they've been spawning pretty, well, actually, I can show you. Before my camera dies. I think my camera's about to die. But you can actually see them here. You see those males? They're getting fired up, man. They're getting fired up, and just going all over the place. But anyways, as I was saying, this guy said I got 11 tanks for under $60 just bro, I wish I could have gone to that Mako meeting. It sounded like a great chance to pick up some, and I actually need some tanks. Yo, what's up, Koi Pit? Okay, So this BioStyle Thermo 30 HOB power filter, that went for $16 to bidder 144. We got some angelfish, went for $2. Holy. The blue Galaris male. I was nervous because sometimes, well, one, there was no photo. Shame on you, Toonie Loon. Come on. Come on. Where's the photos? All the lots, no photos. Come on, man. Come on. But sometimes at these auctions, if it's just a male, I've seen it not go as well. But most people just care about the fish being pretty. So they went up. Chad got the light shined on it. Like they hyped it up appropriately. And of course, Cinnamon was there to bid everything up as well. So the Galaris male went for $35, which I actually feel like it's not too bad. It's not too bad. Sutton said, got a few fish coming in this week. Tequila Good Aid from Florida and some Tang Killies coming from NY. Tang Killies. What are Tang Killies? Sounds nice. We have some kind of Anacris, ... for $2. White worm culture, cold temp variety, went for $8. Now, I'm not giving Chad too much shit, but he opened up the white worm culture and said, "Well, I don't see any worms, but I assume they're just hiding." I'm like, "Well, not bidding on that shit." Aaron has spoiled me, bro. Aaron has spoiled me when it comes to white worms. Like, if I'm opening that thing and I don't see a bunch of white, Carrie Tolva's got some great white worm cultures too. If the auctioneer is opening it, not seeing any white worms, holy. I need some white worms in that bitch. All right, got some more angelfish for $10. I think this person actually took photos of the exact item. So you guys tell me if you think this was a steal. To me, they look nice. Got some shininess to them. But again, I don't know much about angelfish. They say a $half size. So these two for $10 to bidder 735. Okay, this was an interesting one. A lot of people seem to be interested in it, but only Big Steve bid on it, I think. Okay, so this was wild betta species Ocellata, I think from the Unamaculata complex. Cheryl says good price for angels. I'm going to go to BW Aquatics and see what they got as a photo. I think some of the bettas from this complex look cool. They just kind of scare me, and I just want macrostoma. I'll be honest, macrostoma's the only betta that kind of look in that. I don't know what complex they're in or whatever, but they're the ones that I want that look kind of scary. So I'm kind of saving my space for that. I do kind of want API Jade bettas. But Cinnamon put those in. Cinnamon says she got 20 pairs of them. I'm like, what the hell? They're like, did you breed these? She was like, no. I'm like, so you just bought 20 pairs? Like, Cinnamon is, don't bid against her. That's all I'm saying. Scotty said I took a chance on the worms. Yeah, Aaron is crazy with the worms, but to be fair, he also has a worm fridge, which is just a level of commitment that is unhinged. Sutton says I got my Ocellata from Drew. Yeah, those are one I can't wait to see Steve breed. I'm sure he's gonna breed 10 billion of them, and they're gonna be beautiful, and I can't wait. Yeah, this is my Danios. Oh. So the aquarium books didn't sell, and I was just like, so I'm still getting used to the online auction thing. Plus, like I said, it was just kind of a chaotic today. I have a hard time like focusing when there's so much like just stuff going on. But the guy was walking out with them. He's like, the books didn't sell, and I was like, well, will you take $10 from him? I handed him 10. So I got the books. So I talked about how I was doing I want to build a library of books that I can bring to meetings for ACM and have members check them out. So I handed them the 10, and I got a bunch of books to show for it. 1 second. Let's see what books we got here. They're in good condition too. They're not like all old and crusty. You know what I mean? They're looking all right. Yo, what's up, Cinnamon Girl? In the chat, the auction demon themselves. Cinnamon said, you got Chris's volcanoes, and I got those and a couple other wild bettas. Nice. So here's the books that I got. Just real quick, book haul. One of the things that I bought. We've got marine fish. Look at that. It's actually, the hardcover is like plastic size, man. They waterproofed it. The back says, This book, illustrated with 72 full-color photos and 17 black and white photos, presents sensible, easy-to-follow recommendations about selection and caring for marine fish. So, pretty cool. This is going straight to the club library I'm building. And the original price tag was $99, okay? I got all the books for $10. This is a steal already. You know when they're counting how many colored photos there are, that this shit's old. But, there you go. The best part about these books are the photos, honestly. Like, even if you know the information, it's just cool looking at photos of fish. Cheryl said maybe I should send Nick a pair of Immaculata of Acom when they're old enough to sex out. Are you trying to scare me? You trying to threaten me? What's up, Jacob? Okay, Cinnamon Girl's an auction boss. I wouldn't want to bet against her. I did see her get beat, though. Well, you have to be reasonable. You don't want to overpay for something. Okay, here's the next book. A step-by-step book about seahorses by Peter Giovanna. It's pretty cool. Full-color books and drawings in out. This book provides a great introduction to these fascinating fishes while making their maintenance in the saltwater aquarium or miniature reef crystal clear. Look at that. Kind of smells nice, too. Oh, breeding and raising. Oh, come on. Come on, man. You gotta become a member. I'm joking. But I'm not. I'm building a library, man. This is gonna be like, what is it, Alexandria? What's the famous library? But don't burn this one. All right, we got another one, Tropical Marine Fishes by Dr. C.W. Emmons. A lot of saltwater stuff. Some more nice photos in here. Oh, I know this one. That's the batfish, right? I know that one. Beto says Zinni would like that book. Cheryl says the UMAX are just water puppies. Oh, some of them get big, right? Steve said I just got seahorses, and Nick, you're an ASCM member, bro. If you come to the next meeting, I'm gonna have some. I'll have the books there. If you're a member, you can check one out. All right. All right. This one is Clownfishes and Sea Anemones. Anemones, a complete pet owner's manual. Okay. Honestly, it's also easier to go through a book sometimes. So this must be the marine stack. This is just one stack. Okay. I got all the marine books on me. Look, starting a marine aquarium. Damn. This one, this is all laminated. This is nice. My female is 4.5 inches. Jesus. Steve said I just found a bag of Blixa Japonica I forgot to bring. Damn, I would've. Yo, Steve, when can I come over? We gotta do a stream at your place for sure. And I gotta come and trade and buy shit from you. But all right, I'm not gonna bore you with too many of the books. But I got a bunch of books. So those are marine ones, but we do have some tropical ones. So we got Dr. Herbert R. Axelrod, Tropical Fish. Okay, 96 pages, 100 full color photos and drawings. Okay. Oh, look at the fin on that little library there. What's that? Bill Heron's Hyphen Platyvariatus. That's what this is over here. That is quite the high fin on that. Nick, when are you gonna in the saltwater? Never, bro. You want to give me $1 million, baby? There's too many weird disease. I was listening to the last Watercolors podcast, and the guy on there was talking about how he went blind because of something related to a saltwater tank. Now he don't scuba dive anymore, and I'm like, yeah, that's probably what would happen to me. Honestly, bro, these books have some interesting live bearer photos. Like, look at this Hyphen Variatus. It looks like it's got a wedding dress on its back. Steve, mail me some. I need to test it in my stratum tank. Yo, Jesse's getting into the plants heavy, man. Ooh, we got a mouth brooder photo. Pseudotropheus microstoma. Look, getting her fry into her mouth. That's why I like books like this. Sometimes they just randomly have some pretty cool photos. Okay, let's move on with the rest of the auction. But I just wanted to show off some book acquisitions, you know. One book at a time. The last one I'll show is The Complete Aquarium by Peter W. Scott. This book is massive. All right. Nick, you can do it. No, there's enough freshwater stuff to get me into trouble for now. Okay? You salt people, slow down. Let me get some Amphidora stuff bread. That'll be my gateway. Okay? We'll start there. Just calm down. Calm down. Okay. So, let's get into the rest of this. Getting my tab back up. So, we got an aquarium co-op intake sponge for 3. We got a mixed molly lot for 8. I got this water conditioner because I was out. So, I bid this up to 5. But when I went to pick it up, I couldn't find it. So, I like the online auction for the dry goods. I think it's awesome. I told Julia, I was like, this is great. The people taking things that they didn't win or just stuff not being there when you go to pick it up is still, this has happened to me many times. Like, I think there was the Coral Rock. I've been trying to get Coral Rock forever. I finally bid on it, and then it was gone. You know what I mean? I think a lot of times, especially with this looked a lot like another thing that was there. People just walk off with shit. So it's $5, whatever. Just consider it a donation. But if you guys find one, let me know, okay? The other 10-gallon tank with the ultralight and lid went for $13. That's not bad. Not bad. Cheryl said no salt. How about Lake Natron cichlids then? Come on, bro. Steve said I got a bunch of babies if you're testing, but I can tell you it loves stratum. Yeah, no salt for me. Come on. The Cricket Keeper, that went for $6. Some more angelfish went for $14. API glass test tubes went for $5. Honestly, I think this is a steal. I've never bought them individually, but I have to imagine that it at least cost $5, probably more. When I was using the liquid test kits, I broke these every single month. That's one of the reasons I switched to the strips. I was tired of breaking that shit. What kind of rock you looking for? Bro, I'm looking for all sorts of shit that you have, okay? I'm looking for all sorts of stuff. I'm sure you got some coral rocks. I was looking for him to pit with my Lake Tanganyika, or just when I have to do some Tanganyika fish for BAP, so. We got aquarium co-op ammonia test strips for $4. We got a 20-gallon high with an LED light and lid, $11 to $114. I think I got a picture of that tank. Hold up. Let me see. Yeah, if you're looking for 20 highs and stuff, there were some 20 highs, some 20 longs. I think Scotty said he got one for $1. Auctions are always a good place to pick up some tanks, unless it's a 10. If it's a 10s, just go crazy, bro. People pay anything for a 10 in nice condition with a lid. Okay, let me tell you. Scotty said API switch from glass. Yep, they did. So it's even more rare. It's definitely worth the $5. Jacob said I have a bunch of coral and limestone rocks, bro. I live in Iowa. I'm not in Iowa. Ooh, flame moss, $7. Well, guess what? I got flame moss, and I think I paid $10 for it. I got this bag of flame moss here. Hand for scale. I feel like I'm pretty happy with that. I want to grow some. I'm going to put it in the tank I'm going to do CO2 in. Steve said, Nick, I have some coral. Bro, when can I... Bro, we got to do a stream. Come on. 2.5s go for more than retail? Yeah. Bro, but everyone wants the small tanks right now. All right? That's what it is. Speaking of tanks, do you guys want to see Ben's fish tank? SVC hooked us up. Jesus fucking Christ. Guys, you got to see this. Oh my god, bro. Yeah, why Ben go to the fish store? You guys tell me if you think this is real. If you think this is really Ben's fish tank. Okay? Here we go. So we're dealing with some goldfish in jail. I don't know what's going on, man. This goldfish on the left, he looks like he made the decision to kill himself at the first chance like a year ago. He's just waiting. for his opportunity. This one on the right, honestly, bro, he looking way too healthy, man. He need to look a little grungier. I see why Ben's begging for a free fish tank, man. He's got his goldfish in Guantanamo Bay, or I guess this is Guantanamo Creek. Perhaps a Guantanamo ditch. Yo. Someone give big. Did you Google lens it? This was. Yo, Mick said, did Bob escape this take? Oh my God, bro! Look, the goldfish are comforting each other. Yo, he went to the other fish like, no, Flippy, no, you got so much to live for. He's gonna get a free fish tank one of these days. We'll be all to have a better life, please. Please don't jump, Flippy. Yo, that fish better kill itself as quickly as possible in GTA. Watch out, YouTube moderators. Yeah, we got the goldfish and the bomb escape. Jacob said, I'd be too embarrassed to send that to anyone. I mean, this guy's begging online every day of the week, every hour, creating multiple accounts. He's got no shame, okay? Steve says, Mick wins comment of the day today. Luis, I'm trying to add stock to Square, but I'm simply dying here. Hey, you're dying. So are Ben's fish, man. They're definitely dying, man. One of them might might be writing a book. In a couple of years, their book's gonna be famous. It's gonna be the Diaries of Guantanamo Ditch. Yeah, this is bad. Ben, you don't need a free fish tank. You needed a warrant for your arrest. That's what you need. I think Mick does win the comment of the day. That was good. Jacob said the goldfish are telling each other the last words. Scotty said Bomba didn't come today because he's scared of Big Steve, as he should be. I agree, man. Big Steve bullied the whole scene, man. He bullied the whole scene. All right. There you go, Ben. I'm so glad that you showed us that. I'm sure that helped you somehow. Ranunculus oh my God, Inundatus. This looks like, so apparently this is not water wisteria or whatever. It's kind of a weird looking plant, man. Like, I don't even know what to say. Flash is selling this. He's got bins and bins, so it does look like it could be some nice stuff. It went to bidder 6, so Steve bought this. I was about to say, this looks like something Steve would get right into. That's an interesting plant. You gotta tell me how you like it, Steve. Luis has some featherfin boops from Tanganyika that you can breed for BAP. Those are cool. Yo, Luis got a lot. Wait, Steve said you wanted this plant for a long time? Really? Shit. Bro, you should have told me, man. Flash would have brought it to ACM. He'd be bringing this around. Now I want it because Big Steve wants it, so this got to be big money, right? Auto feeder, brand new in box, $2. Have you guys noticed no one wants auto feeders anymore? I think I have an unopened one. I never even set it up. I mean, I think they kind of just are terrible for the most part, so that's why no one wants them. Also, like, feeding fish is one of the best parts of owning a fish. Like, I think most people do their interaction when they feed the fish, so, like, why would you want to automize that? You can't really scale to 50 auto feeders, or I don't know why you would, so. Luis said, do tricolor bee sips instead of boops. I can get them for you. They're fine. All right, let me get my Tanganyika set up. We'll have to figure it out. Beto says, Temu has some auto feeders and they're cheap. More and more people have been sending me aquarium stuff that they're buying from Temu, Alibaba, AliExpress. Like, bro, the companies are gonna have to watch out. A lot of people are just buying this shit straight from fucking AliExpress. It's kind of crazy. I've just noticed more and more. Like early last year, no one I knew was really talking to me about that. This year, I just keep hearing more and more people telling me they're just trying to order stuff off these random sites. Okay. To me, this was a big steal. Okay, a trio, 2F, 1 male, pineapple swords. This is the sword that we were looking at, right, Steve? I forget. There was a sword I think was a pineapple one, and it looked really nice. Not quite like this photo. It looked really nice though. Um, I thought it looked like a nice, and it was big. It wasn't like just a bunch of babies, so it was pretty cool. And these went for $14 to bidder 131. So I think that was a pretty good price. This guy said, "Screw Temu, I want 3D printer." I'm conflicted on 3D printers. You can make some useful stuff, but long term, a lot of this 3D printing stuff for me has been pretty fucking bad. So, and a lot of, like, if it's PLA, there's some controversy, but I've talked to some people that do a lot of 3D printing and selling stuff, and I've seen people like Lowell and people like that say you should only print PETG, so some things like that. I don't know. Recently, I've realized that making stuff is sometimes a lot easier. Like, I've been making a bunch of my own jet lifter things with PVC. I just realized one day it was so easy. I just drill a 3/16 hole, plug in the airline, get an elbow at the top, put my sponge on the bottom. Oh my god! And I made like 10 of them in like 20 minutes. And now I got nice flow everywhere, and I don't got to deal with no clogging landfill air collar. I don't gotta deal with no clogging air stone. It's beautiful. Okay. Wingless fruit fly culture went for 6. Steve said PLA is fine. See, here we go. 3D printer battle in the comments. Beto says, Luis, those congruences are cool. It is a cool shell dweller. I've been looking at those. I thought I was going to get them from Jesse at one point. I got the gold ocellatus instead. I think that's what happened. Okay, we got a Nubia species nano for 7. Not the biggest piece. I'm kind of off Anubias anyway. Okay, here's my Northos, my Diamond Tetras. We looked at that. A Cricket Keeper. Not a Critter Keeper. A Cricket Keeper. Are Cricket Keepers better than Critter Keepers? This lid situation looks much different. This looks like a much more secure lid than a Critter Keeper. Look, it's got clamps on the ends. Yeah, this might be the upgrade. I think $5 for this is a steal. This probably is worth 20. Let's see. Cricket Keeper. Oh my god, bro. How was I actually right? Look at this. Imagitarium Cricket Keeper. Oh wait, but this don't even got the clamps. Oh, but okay, these little tunnels in the middle, that's like a cricket thing. But that some of them are $20. This chewy one is $9, just about. But okay, $5 is definitely a discount. Good shit. API General and API Fin and Body Cure both went for 8. I bid on them a few times, but I could tell the person was going to keep bidding it up, so I just let them have the deal, We see the 20 high here went for $1 to bidder 166. And then we see the 20-gallon high double stand metal went for $20 to 66 as well. So 66 cleaning up on the high. Had to pay a bit more for the stand, but you got the tank and the stand both for $21. That's pretty sweet. Rotala Vietnam Hura 10 stems. We got another bin flex photo. This is like the photo, so after the auction you go up to this person and like, okay, let me buy some plants, bro. I see you got the plants. Let me buy them. Rotala Butterfly, we got $8 to bidder 191. Golden Mystery Snails, $5 to bidder 141. All right, I'll take $5 for some Mystery Snails. Give me something. Can't complain. Fluval Plant CO2 Indicator for $2. How much does this cost? I think this just looks so ugly. Like, I see why it went for $2. Fluval Plant CO2 Indicator. Let's see. Okay, Chewy's got it for $17. All right, nice. Okay, we got a Fluval Spray Bar Kit. I probably should have gotten one of these actually, cause yeah, I wasn't paying attention. But Julia Miller was selling this. Could have been a lot of the times they put stuff in on behalf of the club. The winner was Stone 98 for $4. Got the Fluval Spray Bar Kit. And I'm seeing they're going anywhere from $24 to $30. That's a pretty nice pickup right there. That's a pretty nice pickup. So these yellow Neos, they were in a nice bag. Scotty was selling these They were in a nice bag, I think. The water was clear. My water had some cocoa core. But where's the photo, Scotty? Where's the photo? Now the quantity is 4. Did I see this bag? Maybe I didn't. I thought I saw another bag of yellows, but they didn't have just 4 in them. I don't know. Regardless, I'm shaming Scotty for not putting the photo. You could. I think you could have gotten at least $5 more with the photo. Okay, look, it said 3 people were watching. Look what happened. Come on, man. Come on. Eheim 2217 filter went for $25 to bidder 114. Scotty said bidder 66 is me. All right, we're on Scotty's case right now. I also should have put in the description that they were Aqua Shelly award-winning shrimp, bro. Oh my god, bro, this is like auction malpractice. You didn't even like try and brag up your fish. Like you did not try and sell your fish at all. You should have said you this is like a patented line or something. Come on, bro. Okay, there's my Rivulus. There was a nice sized Festivus flag cichlid. This was a donation. They keep getting donated these. I wish I had a tank big enough to do like these and angels or something. Like, I don't know. I think they're a really cool fish, but I just don't have anywhere to put them. But that went for $6. I bought these because Flash was putting them up. I'm like, I'm bidding on my man's plant. I want some plants for the CO2 tank anyway. So I paid $10 for 10 stems of Bacopa Salzmani Purple SG. And I got that floating in the tank right now. So let's see. Some Ludwigia Super Red Mini went for 10 stems. Let's see. Blue Diamond Neos with no photo went for $12. Again from Scott. Oh my god, bro. You know Blue Diamond is like the hot marketing name for a blue shrimp line right now. You could have gotten some more money, bro. Now $12 for 4 is pretty good. But you did. I know these are probably award winning. You probably got these from Jesse or someone like that. You know, I got some from Jesse. And when I put them in, I'm gonna say it's from the Aquashella award winning line, bro. Now, Scotty, actually, you did win some of your own, so these actually could be yours too. But still, my point is, what's going on, man? You drove all this way to the auction and didn't even try. Holy. Okay, we got Bat Bulimia Negro Fasciata, $6. I think it was a trio. Yeah, from Val. $6 for those. We got Japan Blue Gold Double Sword Guppy Group. Those went for $9. Okay. 4 Emerald Green Barbs. Now, yo, Toonie Loon. See, I'm coming for everyone. I'm coming for myself, bro. I did bad on the photos, okay? I didn't do enough photos with the actual fish. But these Emerald Green Barbs went for $14. It says it's 4 of them. And I think the photos are doing a lot of work here, man. Come on. They look nice. They look nice. How much are these? Oh, damn. This place was selling them for 10. Okay, Aquatic Arts. Okay, School 3 for 13, though. So, this was 4. And it went for 14. So, yeah, this is good. This is good. I think the photo helps, though. Come on. The photo helps. Okay, this black worm one didn't make it in. No sale on this small sponge. Guppy grass went for 6. Okay, some air pumps went for 3. Okay, Amazon frog bit. $14 to bidder 106. Oh my. Oh my. Now, sometimes this stuff, people just be buying this stuff. This is a nice photo, although it was automatically added from another lot. So I don't know if it's this person's photo, but we do have a nice description. I do think the descriptions do matter, okay? Enough to cover a roughly shoebox size footprint, easily 40 to 50 plus plantlets, easy to grow floater, comes from a tank with snails, so I make no guarantees it's pest free. And it's got the Latin name in there. Like, it shows care. Okay, I want to buy from someone like this, you know? They're putting effort into the description. I don't even put any effort in. Okay, I'm terrible. One thing I've been noticing, though, is some of these terrestrial plant clippings have been doing consistent. Ross said, I personally like the video. It can be a loop. I do wish more videos were on there because some fish you can't really see how they swim and the color too well unless they kind of move around, catch the light. But this mini Monstera clipping went for 9. Apparently this isn't a real Monstera. I don't know. There was some discussion about that. Scotty got some Java moss for $3. We got a Haworthia plant with boo pot, not paint. So unpainted boo pot, like from Mario. And this plant in there. This went for $4. I'm sure this is worth more than $4. Come on. I'm sure. Well, well, maybe not. Etsy's got some listings for not that much, but I don't know what the portions. I don't know anything about this plant, so. Oh, big nerd in the chat, Big Steve said Rhaphidophora tetrasperma. There we go. The spray bar kits went for $4 to $88. 2 of them, 2 lots, $4 each to bidder 88. That's a really nice pickup if you need a spray bar for your fluval thing. You could have just picked up 3 of them for $12. Not bad. Big bag of water Sprite for $14 to $88. Another bag of water Sprite for $7 to bidder 70. All right, here we go. White Cloud Mountain Minnows, a BAP. This went for $12. Let's see what the quantity was. 7. Wow, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Humpback Limia L. Yeah, the Nigrofasciata, 2 pairs. That went for 11. Okay, so there are 2 groups of that in here. Philodendron white something. Bro, who has sold this? Steve, is this you? Yeah, I fucking knew it. Was sold as white wizard, but I see pink, so I don't know. I picked wizard because I thought it wasn't supposed to have pink stems. I don't want a girly plant. Are we for? I don't want a girly plant because there's pink on it, Steve. You never heard of this? Yo, 1 second. Yo, someone gotta buy this. Someone gotta buy this for Steve right now. Who in the chat got some money? All right. We need to send this to Big Steve expeditiously. Okay, real men wear pink. Come on, Steve. Your plant can have a little bit of pink on it. We're not gonna think you've transitioned or anything. Like, Steve, like, should I switch the pronouns for you? I noticed like your philodendron wizard actually had some like pink on it. Like, you know, you can talk to me, man. Like, come on, bro. It's fine. Your plant got some pink on it. But okay, the white wizard something, Steve still ended up getting something for it. $14 to bidder 88. Bob says pink discrimination in my fish fam. Ross said I wear pink shirts often. TBH. Yeah, come on, Steve. Yo, free Steve. Free Steve. We gotta unlock the color palette for him. Neolamprogus multifasciatus trio went for 3. Beto says, back in the colonial days, pink was the manly thing to wear. Yeah, I mean, back in the colonial days, best case scenario, I got to be the slave indoors. So I don't know if that's the best reference point. Okay, Fancy Guppies group, $12 to bidder 148. I'll be honest, a lot of people at the ACM auctions, because I'll be listening and stuff, there low-key are a lot of people looking for guppies. It's just they want like the fancy guppy strains. But there's a lot of people super into guppies still. You know, don't sleep on the fancy guppies. Not a good day for Shelly, Scotty said. Yeah. Well, this club has regularly had those shell dwellers come in. So that's another thing. It's like when me and Steve went to CCY, I think part of the reason it was a good day is because, we were from a little bit out the area, so we brought some fish that they got people bringing great fish all the time, but we brought some different fish that people didn't already have, The Aspidoris, I still haven't managed to get one of these groups. I've been wanting to, but the Aspidoris Spilatus C125 juvenile group, this is from Val. I think she told me Carrie Tolva just gave her some eggs one time, and I guess it worked out because she's been bringing these to the auctions, and they seem to do really well. And just like Ross said, don't pimp yourself out at the auction. It's a very nice fish. So I think she set a $20 minimum bid. It went for $25 to bidder 106. So that's nice. Sutton said, Jesus Christ. He said back in the colonial days, men were actually men. All right, buddy. All right. Yo, why do you got you all these men in the chat? Go to the coal mines, okay? Why are you in the chat right now? Okay, go to the coal mines and get some lung cancer. Let's really go back to the colonial days, okay? I need some homesteads. You can start with my fish shed, okay? Let's get some homesteading going. All right, the harsh winter's coming up, so I hope you got some. I hope you dug out a freezer or something recently. Listen, I've been reading a lot of Little House on the Prairie, so like my knowledge is like set up. I'm gonna be dodging the yellow fever. I'm hoping a doctor moves into town soon because I think my cousin. I think he's got a case of I'm gonna die soon. Listen, let's go. I'm ready. I'm ready. I might start panning for gold. Yo, I gotta go to the park. All right, top fin small aquarium filter went for $6. Yo, where's my colonial fish at? Colonial Fish Keepers Club, CFC. That's kind of fire. Not gonna lie. Yo, we gotta do colonial with a K, then we can be KFC. Someone gotta steal that one right now. All right, 20-gallon long with screen top went to bidder number 80 for $2. That's actually really nice. That's actually really nice. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. Magic Potion Isopods Armadillium Vulgaire 12 went for $9. That's kind of a steal. Not gonna lie. If you're into the isopods, this is something different. Joe brought this. You don't really see things like this too often. Scotty won. Wait, which one did he win? No, he didn't get the 20 long with the screen top. No top for him, boss. Oh, he said the tank didn't look good enough for him. So this is like a little terrarium. The lid isn't on in the photo, but it's basically a lid on it. It kind of looks like a little wonderland. It's pretty cool. Went for $16 to bidder 21, so not too bad. I'm hoping that more mini terrariums, like pre-built terrariums, start showing up, because I think it's a really interesting thing that you don't see a lot in the auction. Like, imagine if people just started buying like 2.5s and like aquascaping them and bringing them to auctions. I think that would be kind of dope. I'm not gonna lie. So this is like a terrarium version of that. I don't know much about Frontosas, so you guys are gonna have to tell me if you think this is a good deal. And Abdallah said he had a really nice one. This is a picture from the internet, but it's a Frontosa. The description says very big, big guy, healthy, gets along with everyone. Had him with discus and swordtails, and it went for $15 to bidder 123. So I don't know anything about Frontosa, but let me know if you think that's a good deal. Okay. Some Christmas moss for $8 to bidder 70. Some Hygrophila Gaia, $4 to bidder 21, and the Frontosa went to bidder 123, which, if I could have any other number, it's got to either be 6, 7, 4, 6, 9, or 1, 2, 3. Like, those are like the best ones, right? Or 666 would be kind of fire too. I'm not gonna lie. Yo, can you imagine every time you win to bidder 666? Come on, that'd be kind of fire. I got the Flame Moss. I need to figure out who I bought. Okay, DeWells. Because sometimes, depending on who's selling the plant, I just don't throw it into any old tank. So I have to remember who DeWells is. Maybe I'll do the reverse respiration. What do you guys think? What's the contamination risk of some fire flame moss? Better says they didn't get so large. I'd get a Frontosa. And Ross says the Frontosa was apparently a great deal. So shout out to the Frontosos. That's got to be a thing, right? Ross says 666 is literally fire, hellfire. Exactly. And then this is the baby Blixa japonica that Steve did not bring. So we just have a listing here that never made it. It was just catfish, bro. Big Steve, he's lying to us all. Lying to all of us. Wizard Tank Scrubber went for $1 to bidder 88, and this might be the worst picture we've seen so far, but I don't know, it's kind of got an aesthetic to it. Like, maybe this is a filter. You never know these days. This kind of blurred out aesthetic is like cool now, right? Wizard Tank Scrubber. Yeah, man, come on. This is like $8 potentially, $6. Nah, this is a steal. Hold up. Hold up. What's up? What's up, Easy Smeezy? How's it going? Brazilian pennywort. I got a bag. I brought a bag of that because Cinnamon said that she really liked the bag I brought to CCY. So I brought another bag. I don't know if she ended up with it, but $9 for the bag of pennywort. We got some Limnophila hybrioides for $3. That seems kind of low just for how nice the picture looks. An eye-catching plant with its lush, vibrant foliage, bright coloration, and great for filling in the background. That sounds good to me. I didn't see it in the bag, though. Mirofilm SP Rorima. Man, Aaron, you're late. You missed chiming in on if it was a Calico Pleco or not, man. Come on. Mirofilm Rorima. This looks pretty cool to me. I was gonna bid on it, but I wasn't bidding on anything I didn't want too much. You know what I mean? So I let it go. It went for $8 to bidder 653. Live Sphagnum moss came in. This is one that people usually do get pretty excited for. It didn't go too crazy this time. It still went all right. $10 to bidder 92. Some live Sphagnum moss. Of course, this is from Big Steve. He's always coming with the quality lots, man. Come on. 3 pairs of Japanese blue double sword. Oh, someone missed the R, man. Double swords. They went for $14. Bidder 653. I put a tiny little red pleco in there. $4 to 114. Guppy grass. $8 to 191. Now this was crazy. So this is what Scotty wants to talk about. So, was it rare? Yeah, I think the Calico was rare, as in like it's rare to see someone try and openly rip you off so hard. Oh, let me stop, bro. Let me stop. It was just funny, bro. It's just like I just don't understand how you could try to argue that that's a Calico Pleco. I understand if one of the parents is whatever, but like that's just not what it means to most people. And the photo didn't match. Like, come on, dog. That's all. I'm not trying to be mean. ACM got a lot of really nice people running the club, but that was kind of funny. Okay, so Scotty, no photo. All the lots from Scotty here. The ram's horns are the only ones that got a photo because it was automatically added. So Scotty, you've seen him auctioneer, but apparently he's the worst auction attender. He's doing none of the best practices. Okay, we got no photos, no descriptions. Like, you shouldn't be giving him your money. This man's lazy as hell. Come on, bro. But despite all of that, he's managed to fail upwards here. We got some Malaysian trumpet snails, no photo. They went for $10 to bidder 80. Okay, so you could have bought like 10, 20 longs with this. You could have bought 2.5 fluval spray bars. I mean, Scotty got money to spend from some Malaysian trumpet snails. Like, I'm looking at all my tanks that are like dilapidated. As soon as the lights turn off, it looks like a fucking horror movie because it's a billion ugly ass Malaysian trumpet snails emerging from the surface. This whole time, I was just looking at $10 there, $5 there, $20 there. Like, bro, as soon as the lights turn out tonight, I'm breaking out my net, and then right next to my net, I'm gonna get my wallet, and I'm just gonna open my wallet up, and I'm gonna hold the trumpet snails to the sky, and just the money's gonna fucking come pouring in because Scotty has shown us the method, the free money glitch. Malaysian trumpet snails are hot in the streets right now, okay? He didn't put no rare in it. He didn't put a book about how they move the soil. Yo, next person that tells me trumpet snails are nice because they move the soil around, I wish I never read that stupid shit, okay? I wish I never read that. They're disasters. At least never put them in a tank you want to breed stuff in. Holy. But yeah, Malaysian trumpet snails went for $10. Shout out to Scotty. You know, he owes us all at least a photo, but possibly like a nice snack or something at the next auction, you know, on him. Christmas moss. Okay, this went for $14 to 191. Redroot floaters. Yeah, I did that one for $8. Ludwigia ovalis pink went for $7 to 653. To me, this seems like a really nice plant. Seems like a really nice plant. There'd be a lot of plants in these auctions, so I feel like if you're ever looking for some interesting stem plants, it's a good place to stop by. Painted swordtail group, Xiphosphoros helleri, says 8 of them, and it went for $9. $9 to bidder 753. That seems kind of low, man. Let me see. What do painted swordtails go for? Okay, they're kind of a cheaper fish. Aquatics Unlimited. That don't look like the same thing. By the way, Aquahuna, I saw they had these red and white swordtails. I don't know if these are the same ones we've been seeing in the auctions that look a little bit different, like some candy cane type stuff, but I don't know. I feel like this is going to be a good year for swordtails. I don't know. I kind of get the feeling. I feel like there's some movement on swordtails, man. Like, there's just some interesting ones I'm seeing at the auctions, and I don't know. Even I'm interested in. So I got some ruby red swordtails. 2026, you might see some swordtails. I don't know. Sky said if I known they would have gone for more than $1, I would have put 10 lots of 50 in. Beto says some of these velvet swordtails were averaging about $50 a pair at the swap in Chicago. Yeah, I mean, stores sell swordtails for pretty decent money. But even at like the auctions, like some specific ones are doing all right. So I'm feeling like investing in a nice swordtail. So I'll grow out these ruby reds probably. But if I see another one I like. We got some Hygrophila triflora, nice plant. I'm assuming this is Steve. We're gonna picture shame from now on, all right? So we gotta this is the exact item, all right? So this is nice. So I can't even picture shame. He got the example image that is this is a representative, and then he's got the actual image. So I would say this is like a good compromise. Like if you don't have the ideal photo, get the example, but then include the actual one as the second. Now, another thing we learned about this is I think Big Steve might suffer from motion sickness. All right. You ever seen these motion sickness dots? Android. I think you got an Android. Okay. So now if you're trying to figure out how to beat Big Steve in the auction, bro, like I'm telling you right now, all you got to do is put him in a car and make him read something. Because these dots, they're for motion sickness, okay? So just be warned. We now know Big Steve's got a weakness. I think this should be easy. We can work together on this one. Ross said, was at PetSmart today and a family had a big bag of swordtails? See, man, we got reporters on the street. Isopods BC Maple. Oniscus Acellus. I already know this from Val. I was probably over 12. Really nice isopod. I do have these. They just kind of stay burrowed most of the time, so I guess a little disappointed in that way, but it's a really cool isopod. That went for $14, so I feel like that's a pretty decent pickup right there. Let me see. Isopod BC Maple, yeah. Smug Bug is selling $40 for 10 of them. So, yeah, not bad at all. It is kind of a nice isopod. Steve said, I have no clue what you're talking about, the 3 dots, but yes, I get car sick if I read in the car. That's all we needed to hear, Steve. Don't worry about the rest of it, all right? I was surprised no one wanted the electric blue crayfish. There were some pretty nice sized crayfish. I don't know if it's because people want to know the sex of them or what it is, but this one went for $5 to bidder 88. $5 to 88, $5 to 88. 3 tiger barbs went for $5 to 88. 88 is just going crazy, actually. No bids on these. No bids on this. Okay, this crayfish went for $9 to 88. It looks like we're actually coming towards the end here. We're coming towards the end. Snake plant hanging, that went for $5 to bidder 70. I thought this 20-gallon tall screen top sold, but it's not showing sold here. This is my Anacris that Chad called a water weed and went for 3. We got that's it. Yo, we just finished the whole auction. So this was how many lots? about 300-ish lots. Let's see. Let's see. Sort by newest. Okay, 299 lots, just under 300 lots. And yeah, well, I mean, what do you guys think? I feel like there's a couple decent things in this auction. There's some cool fish. I just happen to either have or not be too interested in most of them, but it was a pretty decent auction. Did take forever, but you know, it'd be like that sometimes. Steve said, yeah, my listings come correct. Yeah, Steve's got the bags. He's got the listings. He's really stepped the game up when it comes to the auction. So shout out to all the people at ACM working on the auction. Got another one done. And what's up, Flash? We were just looking at some of your plants, man. We were just looking at the plants. Apparently, Big Steve been looking for that one weird plant for a while. So you made Big Steve's day. That's someone you want to make the day of, because he's got the nice stuff, man. He might just toss you abuse one day, you know, only charge you $3,000 for it instead of $5,000, you know. That's just how nice he is. I'll get one of these boosts on Lava Rock one day, Steve. One day I'll get one of these, but you better make sure it's one with a flower on it, okay? I did give Big Steve a pea puffer today, so I feel like I'm working on the good graces. I don't know how many more offerings I gotta make up, but you know, we're off to a good start. Flash said I randomly got it from Aqua Shell. It was a leftover plant. Sometimes things just work out. All right, how are we all feeling? You feeling all right? Feeling all right? How long did it take us to go through this? Forget how long the auction took. How long did it take us to even finish going through? Damn, we're almost to 2 hours on just that. Olé. Beto says, I was on Boost Plant for an hour yesterday. Need more? Well, first mistake being on Boost Plant. Come on, man. They don't even sell Boost, do they? It's just a name. Alright. Let me see. I got distracted because I got a notification that Louise commenting about some yellow cories. Apparently the yellowfin cories aren't as nice as I was hoping. Okay. The disappointments in life just keep stacking up. My steak isn't too buttery. My lobster's not too buttery. Like, nothing's too buttery. I don't have any of the good problems. I'm just sitting here wishing that, you know, some catfish looked nice. Is that too much to ask? Apparently it's too much to ask. Thank you for that. She's a nice fat one. Yep. I gave you a good. I had her isolated for eventually when I bred the pea puffers again, but I have more than one female, so I felt like I owed Big Steve one. I had to give him the nice puffer. Okay, ready to go. So now he can breed 1 billion of them before I do. Okay, so we're gonna slowly move on to the next topic, which is about Otocinclus, which has already been put out. That I spelled it wrong in the title. I spelled it wrong everything. It's 1 T. Okay, it's 1 T apparently, but it's fine, man. That's the whole point, because I was at the auction today. You guys already know there's some Otos I'm trying to breed. I have aspirations of breeding, but I was at the auction today, and Chris Diaz, he was asking me about if I knew anyone that was breeding Otos, because for whatever reason he was looking for some Otos and he felt like the ones in the store aren't the quality that he found to be acceptable, so he's looking for someone that's breeding them. And I was like, well, I don't know anyone off the top of my head that's breeding the Otos, but it got me thinking, like, okay, the Robocops and things like that, but shit, maybe I need to try and breed some of the normal Otos too, right? So that made me decide that tonight we are going to read about some Otocinclus. Okay, we're gonna read about some Otos, and I don't even know what an Oto is, because some of these things are called like Otocinclus or, you know, an epitoma, whatever weird thing, and maybe some things aren't really actually Otos, but like people call them Otos. I don't know. That's like the kind of stuff I'm trying to get to the bottom of, and of course some of the breeding information, which there seems to be a decent amount of information about breeding them. Honestly, to the point where I'm trying to understand why it's considered to be like a difficult thing. It seems like it's pretty achievable. I don't know. We're gonna figure that out and look into it. And then I think I'm gonna have to try and actually breed some Otos this year. And if I don't, I'm gonna come back and say, well, I guess we figured it out, man. This shit way too hard. I give up. But let's get into it. I actually did look up some stuff ahead of time on the Otos. But before I get into it, let me just replace the battery on my camera real quick. Yeah. And then we'll get started on breeding some Otos, man. Holy. Let me just set my angle real quick. I'm gonna put it on the Kogels. The Kogel Tetris. I've been really liking these guys. Alright. Here we go. Just said I just ordered black rams. Very nice. I did see which, Ross, did you ever send me the fish you said you wanted me to put up on stream? Because you know I don't be seeing my phone. A couple fish said Hippotopomatinae is the group most people call Otos. Okay, we're off to a good start. Listen, I'm listening to what the resident know-it-all says, okay? Why do I even bother looking up anything? Okay. Let me see which one I want to start with. Okay. I think this one. Because let's be honest, we care about the breeding of them the most. Or at least I do. So I guess I'm being honest. Shit. That's what I care about. So I think it's only fitting we start with, from December 2019, Reproductive, Ecology of Otocinclus, Vittatus, parentheses, Reagan, 1904, and the Pantanal floodplain, Upper Paraguay River Basin. So, Otocinclus vivittatus. This looks kind of like the standard Oto situation. Now, what's interesting is, so a couple of fish said Hippotopomatinae is what people call Otos. Now this one, its Latin name appears to just be Otocinclus vittatus. I see it's in Loricardae, genus Otocinclus, so I don't see this H situation. So the plot thickens. What? Over here we have revalidation of Otocinclus arnoldi Reagan. I don't know. Let's stay focused. I think this will be a promising one. So they studied the reproductive biology of Otocinclus vivittatus, and they did this in southern Pantanal, Brazil. A total of 1,066 fishes were analyzed, 490 males, 488 females, and 88 individuals of undetermined sex. Wow, bro. See, those must have been the one that were scared of their plants having pink on them. Sampled with a rectangular sieve and a seine net from February 2009 to January 2011. Variations in the sex ratio, seasonality in reproduction, fecundity, and size at first maturity were estimated. This is all the information we need, man. Come on, let's go. Atkins Nature Aquariums 3552 said, I asked my algae eater how his day was going, but he didn't say much. He's usually on autopilot. All right, this is gonna be a long night. I can tell this is just the start. What's up, Atkins? I appreciate you coming in with the jokes. All right, No variations were detected in the total sex ratio for the study period as a whole, although ratio varied over time. The gonadosomatic index varied according to the river level, but not according to water temperature and rainfall. Okay, the mean fecundity was estimated at 84.1 oocytes. I gotta look up that word. Oocytes, a cell in an ovary, which may undergo meiotic division to form an ovum. Okay, holy. The estimated at 84.8 oocytes with a positive correlation with standard length. So, looks like the longer the fish, the more fecundity. Hardest working fish stream. Let's go. Yo, JP, listen, you can't keep playing both sides. You be in here saying hardest working fish stream. But then when I don't stream for like 2 minutes, you're the first one in chat complaining. You're like, oh my gosh. It's like, it's sweet and sour with you, man. It's like one day I feel so appreciated. The next day you're telling me I'm lazy. It's like, that's why I had to stream today. Because like, if I don't, JP's going to be on my ass. All right. Locally, the species is used as an ornamental fish. However, there's no information about its exploitation/commerce. I'm glad we're looking at this in a positive light. Nor the aspects of its ecology are known. The knowledge of basic biological information, e.g., reproductive period, size at first maturation, and fecundity, are important for the management and sustainability of ornamental species. You know, sometimes I sit here on stream and I'm like, shit, I haven't checked my phone in a long time. And like, I'm gonna have to text my girl like, yo, sorry, I missed your text. I was reading about reproductive period, size at first maturation, and the fecundity of Otocinclus. Checks notes. Vittatus. My bad, bro. I had to check out the gonadosomatic index according to the river level. I mean, this is time sensitive stuff. Okay. These are important for the management and sustainability of a more ornamental species. Thus, aspects of population dynamics and reproductive traits are extremely important for the management of an ornamental fishery. Some reproductive characteristics are strongly associated with the rainy period, higher temperatures, and the increase of river levels. So far, this is lining up basically with kind of how I was thinking for the ones that I got. To maximize juvenile survival and to speed up their development. The Brazilian Pantanal is the larger wetland area worldwide with a great difference in flood pulse according to the geographical position. I'm looking up flood pulse. The flood pulse concept explains how the periodic inundation and drought control the lateral exchange of water, nutrients, and organisms between the main river channel or lake and then connected to the flood plain. All right. That's a good first start on that. The southern Pantanal presents an asynchrony between river level, temperature, and rainy periods, so the flood pulse occurs both in dry and wet seasons. Okay, first note, I'm writing down. Okay, where's the pen? I'm gonna pretend to write something down right now. Okay, first note I'm writing down. All right, flood pulse in the dry and rainy seasons. Very interesting. The reproductive dynamics in fish are directly associated with environmental conditions that are favorable for the development of progeny, such as time periods and locations with greater food supply and habitat availability. Therefore, these asynchronous climatologic/hydrologic regimens can affect seasonality in fish reproduction, leading to alterations in spawning period. All right, now my next note. And other reproductive traits. The higher levels of the river lead to a greater supply of food, making conditions more favorable to reproduction, thus generating the hypothesis that reproductive periods are associated with the increase of river level. Thus, the present study aimed to investigate the seasonal dynamics of reproduction by defining the reproductive period size at first maturity and fecundity, relating seasonal gonadosomatic index to environmental descriptors for Otocinclus, Vittatus, and Porto Martino Pantanal. So they sampled the fish every month from February 2009 to January 2011 in microphyte patches in Paraguay and some rivers. A total of 109 sample units were obtained, and here's a little figure of where they sampled. Going through my bins, my Gastroid are still not doing anything, but my Kluge clowns are going crazy. Oh, that's a nice, I'll show you guys the isopod, Kluge clown. Jesus Christ, I misspelled that bad. I don't know what came up. People really like these. I think this is a better photo. Yeah. An armadillium. Kind of like Gesturai, but they got like red and black and the yellow. So it's a really nice isopod. Okay. Back to the autos. So here we got where they're collecting from. And so the dots, we got the sampling sites here. And then they got the flow of the river. And then this lightly shaded area around are the floodplain areas. So looks like when they're sampling, there is some concentrations of where they sampled here. But it is kind of interesting to see how it's like you got the floodplains, you got the lake here. No, this is good. This is good context stuff. Oh, let me put the link to this in the chat, by the way. Bam. All right. So for each specimen, the standard length, total weight, sex maturation stage, and gonad weight were obtained using a binocular stereo microscope. The individuals were classified into immature, juveniles, maturing, adults, ripe, ready to spawn, and spawned, which means oocytes released. All right. The difference in sex ratio for the entire period and for monthly variation were analyzed. All right. So let's look at the results. The standard length varied from 10.5 to 41.2 millimeters, and the mean was 24, and total weight varied from 0.013 to 1.3 grams. Considering all individuals, the sex ratio has not differed from 1 to 1. But the ratio has varied seasonally, with the highest proportion of males in September, parentheses, falling period. We observed a significant seasonal difference in GSI, for which the highest value of GSI was observed in March, with small reduction in April and later increase in May to July. The GSI changed together with the water leveled, however, was not correlated with water temperature. Let me remember what they said. Oh, the gonadosomatic index. That represents the percentage between body weight and gonad weight. That is the GSI. They literally just explained that, and I forgot a sentence later. Okay. Okay, so the gonadosomatic index changed with the water level, but not with the water temperature. What's up, Uncle Joe's Fish Shed? How's it going? We're just talking about the gonad weight of some fish, you know, typical Sunday night. Then the main predictor of the GSI was the river water level. Complementarily, ripe females appeared throughout the year, so they're spawning year long, it seems like. However, a higher proportion in March and from May to July. So here we see the river level over here, and the variation in the gonadosomatic index. So we see the variation increase. No, here the river level increasing here. And I think this is the percentage of the gonadosomatic index. Excuse me. The absolute fecundity ranged from 16 to 202 vitellogenic oocytes and was positively correlated with standard length. The relative mean fecundity was estimated at 0.171 oocytes / milligrams. Here's a scatter plot of correlation between standard length and the fecundity of Otocinclus vittatus. So we have the number of oocytes and the length over here. And yeah, you can definitely see as they get longer, the number of oocytes do seem to increase significantly, with 200 being the highest at about 32-ish, the 30-ish millimeter length. The size at first sexual maturity was estimated at 18.7 millimeters. So I'm taking another note here. I'm going to the store. I'm finding some that are 18.7 millimeters. Should be simple, right? All females were considered mature at 25.8 millimeters, and all males were considered mature at 28.8 millimeters. So first sexual maturity was estimated at 8.7, but they consider them all fully mature at about 25.8 for females and 28.8 for males. We got a graph for this as well with the standard length and the proportion of mature individuals going up with the size. Okay. So here we go to the discussion portion. Theoretical studies on sex ratio propose that a biased proportion acts negatively on species with one predominant sex, which will transmit their genes with proportionally lower frequency to the next generation. Experimental studies are demonstrated to the tendency to fish species converge equal sex ratio. For many fish species, differences in the one-to-one pattern are considered results from differential predation, growth, and/or mortality between sexes. For Otocinclus vittatus in the region sampled, and considering the whole sample period, males and females are equally abundant. However, temporarily, the sex ratio changed with predominance of males only in the following water period, which may suggest differences in growth rate. Or possible differences in their spatial distribution in dry period as a result of reduction in macrophyte beds along the riverbanks. Now, does anyone know, are Otocinclus vittatus one of the ottos where the males guard the eggs or something? Because part of me kind of wonders is if the difference in seeing them, like if it's a fish that stays near its eggs or something, would that maybe affect how many of them you're sampling versus the other sex? That's like one thing that comes to my mind. The seasonality in fish reproduction depends on water temperature, rainfall, and river level, and has been observed in many watersheds. In our study, the reproductive period for Otocinclus vittatus in the pantanal of Port Martino occurred all over the studied year, with greater reproductive intensity in months with higher water levels of the river, lower rainfall, and according to the flood pulse. So it does say water temperature could be a factor, but they're breeding all year long. Get to the good stuff. How are we breeding them and when are we starting? I'm getting sleepy. Bro, I've said some of that. You guys always get impatient as we get to the good stuff. Go on. The positive relationship of reproductive frequency with river level observed in our study is expected in the flood plains. Zug and Weinmiller, I wonder if that's Weinmiller, 2007, suggested that small-sized fishes with longer reproductive periods show reproductive peaks coinciding with peak river flows. As a strategy to colonize floodplain habitats, this hypothesis is corroborated by our results. Ooh, all right. Let me see if I can read this. So, Louise is actually one of the people that told me that when customers said they bred them, a lot of them bred them by the outflow of the hang on back filters, right? Some flow. So if I'm reading this correctly, they're saying that while they do seem to breed year long, it's not necessarily temperature. It seems there's more to do with the water levels of the river. So the water levels of the river being high. And here they're saying they think it could be a strategy to colonize the floodplain habitats. Because if we go up here, you see the river where they're sampling them from is surrounded by these floodplains. Now, again, this is uneducated person talking, but I'm thinking, okay, so the water level is rising and they're going to lay eggs and stuff because this is when the water level is high enough where the babies can go out to these floodplain habitats while the water level is higher. So could be one of those ones where increased flow because okay the it's flooding out to the surrounding plains and stuff, but it could be one of those ones where you put them in a tank that's not filled up all the way, wait for it to rain a bunch, and then you could increase the temperature maybe, but you add some extra flow in there and raise the water level. It's kind of what it sounded like. Um, Louise said the customers say that they go for the hang-on back filter when water is flowing heavy duty. They drop a few eggs, stick to the filter box, outtake. Yeah, that makes sense, and that kind of sounds like what's going on here. So I'm taking all the notes. The higher flow water could have more oxygen or less predators. There's a lot of benefits to higher flow, honestly. And oh, I already told you guys, but yeah, we got some more higher stuff coming, and two of the things are some of their wave maker type stuff. So I was thinking a Hillstream tank, but shit, we might have to set up an auto breeding tank. Let's go! You heard it here first. Auto breeding tank. Auto breeding tank. We'll set up a tank. We'll keep it lower than what it can be filled. Wait for it to rain, fill it a little bit. Increase the flow. See what happens. Let's breed some autos. Easy peasy. Okay. Let me go back to where I was. Ole. Hilly and auto breeding tank. Ooh, should we do them together? That'd be kind of interesting. Then I'm gonna have to. Then I'm well, everyone. Mick's gonna be in the chat. Oh my god! Don't let them starve. You better feed those poor fish. I'm sending 10 kilograms of rapashi to your house right now. I love you, Mick. I love you. But you really do think I'm gonna starve my fish to death. Okay. So, here we go. The good stuff. In the studied area, Vittatus occurred mainly associated to aquatic macrophytes. Now, just again to remind ourselves. Aquatic macrophytes. Okay, aquatic macrophytes are defined as large aquatic plants that include angiosperms, ferns, mosses, etc. Okay. I have seen a lot of autos and stuff laying eggs on things like Anubias, right? In Paraguay and rivers, it is expected that the reproduction and flooding period act as a strategy to reproductive success, since the increase of rainfall provides for the expansion of habitats, which is important for its reproductive success because it allows the exploration of new available environments as nurseries and sites of growth for juveniles. Mick said, still here? Yeah, you're not disagreeing with me either. You know that shit's true. Hey, I'm ready for the import of some fancy Swedish food, man. Send me some Swedish fish. Send me some rapashi. Send me some Sarah products. Okay, let's see. Top 10 Swedish foods. All right, let's see. Let's see. Goodfood.com. Yeah, this is reputable. All right. Reject all, just take my cookies. I don't care. Let's see. Okay. Swedish foods to try. Cannabul. This just looks like a cinnamon bun with nuts. Pause. No. Okay. Film yolk. What the hell? What kind of granola with mint leaves in it? And oranges? All right, Nick, don't send me this. Don't send me this. I'll go to the bird supply store. Oat milk latte. I'll try this, Mick. I'll try this. I like milk a lot. Pause. Many Swedes are extremely health conscious. Is that true? Mick never sleeps. Ooh, toast skagen. Now we're talking a luxurious version of a prawn cocktail made from peeled prawns mixed with mayonnaise, dill, and lemon. Topped with fish roe. Served on crisp sauteed bread. Oh my god. Okay, Mick, you can send me this. Foraged berries. Get this shit out of here, bro. Foraged berry. You got this out of your backyard. Swedes love spending their time in the wild thanks to Almian Schreiden. The right to roam. Yo, they got the right to be homeless? Yo, keep your homeless strawberries to yourself, Mick. Alright, we got herring. This just doesn't look appetizing. I'm gonna be honest. It don't look that appetizing. I like the prawn better, but I try this, Mick. I wouldn't offend you. Godis pick and mix. I don't like anything about what I'm seeing right now. Is this cold? Is this cold? This is apparently aimed at helping curb the nation's sweet tooth. What? This is from a dental health campaign. Okay, I don't know what's going on, Mick. All right, here we go. Swedish meatballs. I don't want to go to IKEA anymore. Louis said this isn't right. Now you're making me sleepy yet hungry. Go back to Otto's. Okay, wait 1 second. Ooh, licorice salty? Okay, I like that. I like that. Send me that. Oh, this bright green cake. I don't need to read what it's made of. It looks good. Like, this looks like something I see in the Great British... Oh! They just said it was in the Great British Bake Off. Yeah, send me this shit. I love that show. Lingam berries. Yeah, this is good too. All right, Mick. We got some options. I know you said the Ottos eat specialized food. Me too. All right, me too. So, like, why don't you save me instead? Okay, breeding the Ottos. Despite this, it was possible to observe a correspondence between the gonadosomatic index and rainfall in the first months of this studied year, suggesting that rainfall can act as a start. Ooh, I've tried that salty licorice before. Jessica brought that back for me once from a trip. It was good. Okay. So floodplain inundation can be greater with floods coincide with optimal temperatures. This hypothesis corroborates our idea that the raise in water temperature can trigger the reproduction of Vittatus, which can continue when river levels achieve higher values. The small number of reproductive studies on other small leucorid species make it difficult to compare the results obtained for O. Vittatus. However, the species showed a larger fecundancy when compared with other Hippopotamotematae species, as Hypopotampoma spectabile. This shit's kicking my ass. Nah, this just looked like another ugly Otto. Kind of got a cool little sharky look to it, but yeah, we want the RoboCop, bro. Get this shit out of here, man. Food and simply, I'm a simple chick. All right, man. All right. Let's throw back the ramen, some sriracha. Other species of Hypopotamotematae have a fecundity low in relation to O. Vittatus and headwater streams of Brazilian Atlantic rainforest. All right. The difference in size at first maturity between sexes, so when each male and female, when they're ready to get it on, is commonly observed in fish, mainly in species with parental care. However, the absence of available data for other species of Ottos make the evaluation difficult. Okay. So, conclusion, basically. Their data showed that the gonadosomatic index is strongly associated with the river level and that spawning can be triggered by increase in rainfall. However, ripe females can be found throughout the year. The analysis shows that spawning is divided because a polymodal pattern is observed in the distribution of oocyte width in mature females. The mean fecundity is higher when compared to other Otocinclus in upper Parana streams. However, the lack of information about reproductive ecology in floodplains hinders comparisons. All right. What did we learn this one for breeding them? Well, basically kind of the old standard stuff. Maybe an increase in temperature, but possibly this could be one, increasing the water level in the tank they're in, adding a bit more flow, some macrophytes. This seems to be the way. Okay, so when we set up the Hillstream Oto tank, we're going to set it lower, not all the way filled up. And then every time it rains, we'll add some water. All right? That's what we're going to do. Your fish are going crazy in that tank in the background, like turbo speed chasing. Dude, I love... This is the Kogel Tetra I said I got the 2 fry of in the beginning. So they're in the 28 low boy. I really like these guys. Not the rainbow cichlids, the tetras. As soon as I try and like show them, then they all disappear. But I'm hoping I can set things up and get some more fry from these guys soon. I just gotta set it up where I can actually get some eggs from them. I need to get the cories out of there too. All right. Yeah, they're zipping. They're fun fish. Okay, let's get to the next one. Your Otto's old. Come on, man. She got what's the mean length? What's the length of your feminoid Otto? Come on, what's the fecundity? We need some gonadosomatic index measurements. I need a graph. Something. Come on, bro. Come on. Come on, get your science up. So stupid. They're zippy. They're fun. Okay, next one. Let's see. More. We're gonna focus on the breeding aspect. We gotta put Louise to sleep, but just not too fast. If she gets too much rest, she becomes ornery. You know what I mean? It becomes ornery. Does this... Okay. Guys. Come on. I don't got a link for this one, I don't think. But check this out. This is the SARC regional training on mass breeding and culture techniques of catfish. I know. I shouldn't have. I got the whole book. Okay, 182 pages. July 2018. All right, look, this is official, man. We got some insignia. We got all sorts of redacted information. Come on, we up in here. Let's find the Otocinclus. Let's find the Otocinclus. Principles and practice of farm-made feeds for catfish. Okay, page 91. Okay, let's do Otocinclus. Okay, they're definitely in here. This may not be specific enough. I might have to go over this a different stream. There's a lot of cool stuff in here. I was reading it over it before, but maybe not anything Otocinclus really specific. Okay, here we go. Moving along. I would search through that one for a bunch of stuff, but I know I'm gonna get distracted. That's why I'm gonna play it safe. Got a description of a new species. Okay. Do you check out Planet Catfish to see? There's actually a Planet Catfish breeding report on the exact Otto. On the exact Otto I want to breed, the Robocops. I just haven't gotten to that one yet. Because I already read that one. I'm trying to read something different. Here we go. Reproduction of Hypopotoma inexpectatum. Okay. Load up. Nice, I have to check it out. I've sent it to you before. See? That's why I don't talk. That's why I have to talk about these things on stream, bro. I send people these papers. They never read it. I have to read it on stream. They'll never read it themselves. All right, so we're looking at the reproduction of this Otocinclus. It's got a cool red eye. It's kind of dark. Louis said lies. Bro. I'll follow up with the receipts, don't worry. I think it was in the Discord. All right, this work aimed to describe the reproductive biology of Hypopotoma inexpectatum in southern Pitonal. This one in 2021, it looks like. A total of 538 individuals were analyzed. So this could be probably from the same people as before. Because it was also February 2009 to January 2021 that they were kind of grabbing things. So honestly, this is probably going to be a lot of the same information. So I'm going to go down and I'm going to go to the end. Steve says, what do you think? I'm a nerd or something? All right, let me get this Planet Catfish one up here real quick before everyone falls asleep. Then I'll get back to the ones I want to read. But you guys need some photos, maybe your handheld, you know what I mean? I get it. 1 second. I'm here for you. I'm absolutely here for you. We're all fish nerds, Steves, especially if we listen to this guy. The first step is admitting. All right, Planet. Yeah, actually, it wasn't Planet Catfish that this thing was on. It was the Catfish Study Group. All right, now I'm gonna regret this, right? I'm trying to breed the RoboCops, you know. Now I'm just giving away the secrets. Big Steve's gonna beat me to it, okay? But I'm gonna buy all the RoboCops from Louise. Actually, I'm gonna steal them from her. I'm gonna intercept the shipment. So good luck even finding them, right? But here we go. Journal of the Catfish Study Group, and I even put the link in the chat for all of you nerds. All right. So the RoboCop is an undescribed species, right? It's a Hypopotoma. Hypopotoma. All right. RoboCop. Yeah. Oh, maybe Nanopotoma. My apologies. Nanopotoma. Anyways, so we go to the journal from 2022. Steve, DM me. RoboCop's 50% off for you. Yo, this is crazy. This is crazy. Okay, so here we go. So, Nanopotoma SP Peru Orange LDA 1110 looks pretty similar to the RoboCops. Maybe it's not the exact one, but I think this is safely applicable. So, this isn't super detailed, but it does have some interesting information. They purchased the specimens December 13th, 2018, bought 10 individuals. They were in a species-specific aquarium. This is of a male and a female. Now, not really too much to show from this photo, but I think in general, I only have a couple RoboCops, but I think there's a distinct body shape difference. Okay, I think if you have more than a couple of them, you're not gonna have a hard time sexing them. That's what I think. It's like that for a lot of fish, though. I put them in an aquarium bank of tanks, which includes 6 tanks, 43 centimeter wide, 50 centimeter deep, and 22 centimeter high. Jesse said, "That's what happens when you talk shit, Nick." All right. Oh, you want to join the hype train too? Oh, this guy finally buys some fucking plants. Now he's good. Now he's talking shit. You guys both, you and Louise. Okay. You give Steve all the free stuff. Fine. You know, maybe I'll be at my wits end. Yeah, I'll go to House of Tropicals. They do the same shit. London Town. Like, don't leave me with CTE, bro. Don't leave me with CTE. What? I gotta go to Beltway. I may as well kill myself. Okay, so come on. Okay. So you put them in 610. You put them in 43 centimeter wide, 50 centimeter deep, and 22 centimeter high, with approximate volume of 47 liters. Now, 47 liters, 2 gallons, 12 gallons. All right. This bank includes a lower filtration with foam and a pozzolan. I've hooked you both up. Calm down, big guy. That's not what it sounded like now. With a pozzolan's like a porous material, seems like, with a carpet of bio balls of 26 milliliters in diameter. The total volume of the bank of tanks is 450 liters. The host is butthurt. It's okay. We're still like, go to sleep, Louise. It's past your bedtime. Clearly, you're getting cranky. Conductivity 380. pH 7.5, and temperature 27 degrees Celsius. Now, without even Googling the temperature, I'm going to say that 27 degrees Celsius is 80 degrees Fahrenheit. I did that math in my head. Actually, it's 8.6 degrees Fahrenheit. I fed them with small pieces of zucchini, changed every night, raw carrots, and a basic pellet for herbivores morning and evening, plus a few bloodworms in the evening. To stimulate spawning, I do water changes, and I lower the conductivity to 150. My temperature dropped slightly to 26.5 degrees Celsius, and the pH was 7.1. Now, one thing interesting here is that I forget who I was talking about this recently, but one strategy for breeding things, a lot of people, when they're breeding something in like that wants soft water and low TDS, they just go straight to the low TDS. But some of them, they are in situations where the TDS is higher. It's the lower TDS when they spawn. So if you're trying to like trigger them, it could be better to put them in something with a higher conductivity, you know, TDS or something first, and then lower the pH and the conductivity, you know? So don't always rush straight to, Yeah, let me put in the catappa leaves now. Let me put the RO water in now. You know what I mean? Like slow, you can bring it down to there, and that might be what gets it to go. So early in the morning, eggs were laid under a nubius leaf, previously cleaned by the male. The laying can last several hours. The first laying took place on Sunday, May 12th, 2019. So they bought them in December 13th, 2018. It wasn't until May 12th, 2019 where they did it. Perhaps there was higher rainfall. I don't know. Mick said, I'd love to add to my view, but just got food poisoned. Need to rest. Take care, everyone. Okay, Mick, get some rest, man. Hope you feel better soon. It's about time you get some sleep. 2 individuals, a male and female, who laid about 14 eggs under an anubias leaf. And here's the picture of the first spawn. This guy cannot count, bro. There's no way that this is just 14 eggs, right? Yeah. I don't think this guy can count. But here you see the 2 fish. Here are the eggs. Once the laying is finished, the male guards the eggs. The incubation of eggs plus 3 days. The fry remained firmly attached to the leaf during the first week. At that moment, something unexpected happened. 3 days after the first spawning, another female is presented on the leaf to spawn again with the male. They're not predators for the fry. They did not eat them. 2 days after the second egg laying, there was a new egg laying on the same leaf, this time with several females. So check this out. So another reason why you got to get a lot of fish sometimes, man. This is like a group project. So raising fry. After a week, as soon as the fry start to leave the leaf, I collect them and put them in a 10-liter tank. I made myself a small battery of 9 small 10-liter tanks with a lower aquarium for filtration of 60 liters to keep the water quality good. And here you see the little tank setup. So he's got some separators here. Okay. And here's a close-up of the eggs. So pretty, to me, large eggs. Like, I feel like these would be hard to miss. Here's a picture of a 1-day-old fry. It looks like a little green tomato or some shit. Yeah, this fry look ridiculous. Come on. Do you think the fry know how fucking silly they look? This look like your mom gave you too big of a coat. You're like, I don't want to wear this. It's too bulky. Man, I got some PTSD. Eggs and fry from 3 spawns. Check that out. Woke up after sleeping for 3 hours later. So I take it easy, Mick. Back to sleep. I fed the fry with Artemio fluid from JBL and spirulina powder for 15 days. After a week, I added microworms. From the 3rd week, I incorporate Artemia napuli in the food, and I start giving them small pieces of raw zucchini that I systematically change every day. Growth is slow. Care must be taken to maintain good walls of water quality. Here's 1-week-old fry. Now, I was kind of like, damn, they kind of look similar to the Vittatus fry in there. But there's a pretty decent, they got a distinct look. So if these popped up, I think I'd know what they were. So, conclusion. And here's the 1-month-old fry. Kind of interesting. Their bodies are like super dark at this stage. Come on, let's line breathe some RoboCops. Conclusion. Small, very nice, gregarious fish. Not at all aggressive. Having found no information on the reproduction of the fish, only my experience as a passionate aquarist allowed to attain the expected result. Another successful challenge for me. Find all videos made on this fish on my Instagram account, Patrick Trebek. So, I'll put this name in the chat. How long has it not been showing the screen, bro? Man, you guys really only listen to you. Well, let me just scroll back up. See, you don't even care if it's showing the screen or not. I went through the whole damn paper. No one said a thing. Okay, but here you go. Here's the picture of the male and female. Are gouramis any similar? In which way? In which way are you inquiring? Here's the picture of the male and female. Here's the picture of the first spawn. Okay. Here's some of the tanks set up. Here's when multiple females came together after the first spawn and added to the egg pile. Here's a close-up of the eggs. Steve said, is he blaming us again? Absolutely, bro. I mean, you guys clearly didn't care, so. I know a couple fish cares, but maybe listen on the background. The egg lay part, been trying but not getting good results. You said on gouramis? Which gouramis have you been trying? And is it the eggs just going bad? Are they eating them? What you got going on? Here's the 1-day-old fry. Here's the eggs and fry from 3 spawns, so just a bunch of little babies on the left here, and then on the right here is some eggs developing. You can see the 2 little dots. It's like pepper, like little eyes. We weren't chatting because we were paying attention. Oh my goodness, are we supposed to pick on you or listen? Jesus Christ. 1-month-old fry here, and you can see they got like a dark body to them, so they must develop like the full coloration range later. Are these, some of these do look like they got darker bodies though, so maybe there's some variation. I don't know, but yeah, there you go. Spawning report. Are you now satisfied? Are you appeased? I don't have to read any more descriptions of species. We've now completed everything anyone cared about. It's time to end the stream. That's what I'm hearing. Holy. That's kind of what I'm hearing. I'm super stoked to see you breed these out. I am going to breed the Robocops this year. It's just not even a question. And it's going to be so easy. And probably a billion people are going to do it also this year. Okay. Please work. So, Mexicali said, what are you boring people with tonight? Well, I've been talking about Mexicali Fish Keeper, okay? Let's talk about this guy, all right? So, I don't know if you guys have seen, but I discovered this channel, okay? This up-and-coming guy. He's a young guy, all right? You know, it's kind of different. He kind of got a different thing going on, man. Like, I seen him on TikTok. He'd be talking in Spanish. He'd be in here, like, talking on the English. Like, I never seen someone so versatile in the content. But then if you go to the lives, like, he's just got a whole catalog. He's interviewed everyone. New Local Austin, Hard Water Propagation, Chattanooga Ed, Brenton's Fish, In My Tanks, Joy of Fish Keeping, Brenton Lab, Lightcap, Prodigal Aquarius, Cheryl, Jesse Just One More Fish. I mean, he's interviewed everyone. And I seen coming up, we got EP2 Sin Filtro tomorrow at 8 p.m. Then we got 10-gallon fish tanks, man. He's got 10-gallon fish tanks coming on the freaking 16th. Look, I already got the notification on. And then look, Mexicali and Elite Menagerie Habitats, bro. She in the chat. Like, at 8 on the 17th, I got the notification on for that, too. So listen, I know you guys are tired of me boring you, but you should check out Mexicali, man. I'm serious. Not as boring as he seems. Temper said, okay, up and coming. All right, but young, come on. He's young, man. Yo, 70's the new 20. Jorge's not that old. Calm down. Calm down. He's only 70. What's the problem? What's the problem? Once he finally breeds them, then I can let you guys know I have some too. Yeah, you know what, Steve? I'm sick of you. D1 said, I'll do my best to explain. I got a sunrise and a dwarf. I'm trying to get them to mix. Every time I have them in my community tank, they breed. But when I put them in a breeding tank, they don't. Interesting. I mean, it does sound like there's something they like about your community tank more than the breeding tank. Maybe you just need to let them breed in the community tank and remove the eggs. I don't know. Do you have other fish breeding in the community tank? Sometimes fish breeding, other fish breeding get, encourage the fish around them to do the same. What else could I think of? What's in your community tank that's not in your breeding tank? Maybe you need to just mirror the one that it's working in. Is it a different temperature? Is it a different flow situation? Different plants that they could lay on? All right. So, this took forever to load. I'll put the link's too long for me to put. Well, let's see if that works. That might not work. But we got a little bit off topic, but on topic. And if you made it this far, this will be the last paper we go through. But I think it's kind of a cool one. Okay, this is 2025. And it's the Amazonian ornamental fish diversity, reproduction, and commercial application. There's 3 billion authors on this thing, 218 pages. All right. So let's see what's going on with this. We're gonna scroll through and find the interesting things, but we'll do a few in the intro and just find pictures as quickly as possible. All right. So the Amazon River Basin, one of the richest and most diverse aquatic ecosystems on Earth, home to impressive diversity. Oh, good night, Louise. Take it easy. Take it easy. This neotropical basin has 3,000 species of freshwater fish of ecological and economic importance to countless populations in the vast region. More than 400 species of ornamental fish. All right. What chapter should we start on? Okay, you have like 3 seconds to tell me what chapter we should look at. So chapter 1 is the Amazon Basin and ornamental fish. Chapter 2 is conservation and sustainable use of Amazonian ornamental fish. Chapter 3 is diversity and biology of Amazonian ornamental fish. Chapter 4 is reproduction for conservation and capture reduction. Chapter 5 is captivity rearing of the Amazonian ornamental fish. Chapter 6 is biosecurity, disease, and predators. Chapter 7 is genetic of the Amazonian ornamental fish. And chapter 8 is final considerations. Just put the number that sounds the most interesting to you. Okay, put the number that sounds the most interesting to you, and we'll start with that. I'm feeling between 3, 4, and 6, and then maybe 5. That's kind of what I'm feeling. I'm feeling those. The diversity and biology kind of sounds interesting. Of course, the reproduction for conservation and capture reduction is cool. But biosecurity, disease, and predators is kind of like that. That's something different. So I'm kind of feeling 6. JP says 6. See, I got 1 vote for 6. Any other words? Cause shit, I'm scrolling down. I'm scrolling down. And I tried to put the link in the chat, but it was saying it was too long, so I don't know if it worked. But you can always go and scroll and find something interesting to tell us about. All right. There are several challenges faced in the management of Amazon ornamental fish that can vary according to species, variety, and farming conditions, from type of feed to the way they're handled. Mining and ranching is threatening the Amazon, Mexicali said. You would know, huh? You're the one responsible, I bet. That's why you know. Among the main obstacles observed are the occurrences of diseases such as bacterial infection caused by Aeronomas, Hydrophila, Flavobacterium columnar, and Edwardsella tarda, as well as parasites such as the protozoa of genus Ichthyophthalus, Multifilus, and Trichodina, which compromises the integrity of skin and gills. Also recurrent are predation, biosecurity, and competition for food, which can generate uneven growth and compromise the zootechnical development and health of individuals. All right. Let's see what's going on here. Overcrowding compromises the delicate balance between pathogen load, the physical chemical parameters of the water and fish biomass, reducing the animal's resistance and increasing the risk of disease outbreaks. This imbalance in the parasite-host environment relationship can result in clinical signs such as apathy. Yo, you got apathetic fish? It's crazy. Mexicali said I watch way too much YouTube. Fucking men. This guy's got when you got a book of YouTube channels, it's gotten bad. Crowding at the entrance to the water or the surface due to respiratory problems, hemorrhages in the body, gills, or internal organs, corrosion of fins, opacity of the eyes, itching, and behavioral changes caused by ectoparasites, highlighting the importance of proper management to avoid negative impacts on the health of organisms. Reoccurring disease, okay, is a big problem. During the initial development phase, fry are particularly vulnerable to a variety of diseases due to immaturity of immune systems. The high stocking density and rearing conditions seem to be a big factor. In addition, the relationship between pathogens and fish can be amplified by factors such as inadequate water quality, poor feeding, and stress. Okay, let's see what else they talk about going on over here. Gram-negative bacteria. Gram-negative bacteria such as Aeromonas, Citrobacter, Edwardsia, Flavobacterium, Mycobacterium, Pseudomonas, and Vibrio are the main causes of mortality in ornamental fish. Regardless of the pathology, fish generally show non-specific clinical signs, which are common to various diseases. So this goes along with what people like Dan's Fish and such say, where you can't really diagnose a fish by looking at it because many diseases have similar symptoms. So you could think it's ick, and it's actually one of 5 billion other things. You could think it's Mycobacterium, but it's just another bacteria. You can't really tell. These signs manifest themselves in different ways: behaviorally with inappetence, erratic swimming, lethargy, and breathing difficulties; externally with deformities, pale gills, increased mucus, depigmented or hemorrhagic areas, fringed fins, exophthalmous skin lesions, loose or raised scales, distended abdomen, and the presence of visible parasites; internally, during necropsy, enlargement and darkening of the spleen, hemorrhagic liver, enlargement of the heart and kidneys, presence of the blood in the intestine and anal region, as well as the accumulation of opaque or body fluids in the abdominal cavity. Fungal disease is one of the most recurrent in ornamental fish, and like opportunistic bacterial infections, is generally associated with the presence of fungi that already exist in the aquatic environment, whose pathogenic action depends on predisposing factors such as stress or lesions that act as entry points. Among the various pathogenic genera, Saprolegina, Achillea, and Branchiomyces stand out as the most common, taking advantage of damage to the epidermis, physiological stress, immunosuppression, or deterioration in water quality to establish themselves. These infections can cause skin lesions, gill involvement, and in severe cases, systemic infections. Prevention is based on good management practices, quarantine of new individuals, strict control of water quality, and reduction of stressors, with prophylaxis being the main strategy to prevent outbreaks. So prophylactic treating, preemptively treating or preemptively taking action. Parasites are one of the most frequent and worrying groups, especially due to their high dissemination capacity and direct impact on health. These organisms can be classified as ectoparasites, which have contact with the skin of the host, and endoparasites, which have deep contact with the tissues and organs of the host. So ectoparasites, contact with the skin; endoparasites, deep contact with tissues and organs of the host. The most common ectoparasites, so parasites on the skin, in Amazonian ornamental fish include protozoa such as Ichthyophthirus multifilus, white spot disease, Trichodina reticulata, and T. nobilis, or we got figures of these later. Ichthyobotos sp. and Epistylus. Monogean species of the genus Dactylogyrus, such as Dactylogyrus acaratus, Dactylogyrus bari, and Dactylogyrus formosus, which adhere to external tissues, causing irritation. Ectoparasites, external. Increased mucus production, necrosis, and respiratory difficulty. Endoparasites such as nematodes, cestodes, schistocotyle, myzoan, can cause progressive weight loss, abdominal distension, internal lesions, and impaired metabolism. They're showing a fish here with white spot disease. Then we have a photo micrograph view of Trichodina reticulata and T. nobilis, which, they do look different, but they're both kind of got a spinny thing going on here, so you definitely want to find some keys if you get a microscope. That's my big goal for this year, is to get a microscope where I can see some of this shit and figure out what's slaughtering my fish, Big goal this year, microscope. Okay, we got some Ichthyoboto sp. skin infection here. Looks disgusting. With some Epistylus on wet mount preparations under a light microscope at 20x magnification. Here we have Dactylogyrus. B, we have Dactylogyrus bari, and C, Dactylogyrus formosus. Look at these things. They got like little teeth. This looks like something from Monsters Inc. Just not colorized. D1 Fish Guy said, yeah, that's the job, watching YouTube. True. Here we got the classic Camellinus worms, or red thins, and presence of schizocoelite in the intestinal tract of ornamental fish. From the sources eShot Labs 2022. I'm going to put that in the chat because that might be somewhere to look at later to find pictures of some diseases. Here is a microscopic view of a myosporin parasite in the gills of a fish. This is the parasite here. P for parasite, I guess. In the gills. Viral diseases, although less frequent, represent a serious threat to the health of fry due to their high potential for dissemination, lack of specific treatments, and significant economic impact. Viruses can cause high mortalities, especially in systems with high density and low biosecurity. Among the viruses already recorded in tropical ornamental fish, Ovidiovirus stands out, which especially affects species such as cichlids, causing clinical signs such as lethargy, darkening of the skin, acclimation of fluid in the abdominal cavity, hemorrhages, and high mortality. Other viruses of importance include notavirus, which cause encephalopathy, and retinal necrosis, and herpes viruses such as cypritid herpes virus. My fish getting herpes in the Amazon? Yo, this is crazy. D1 said, sorry, I just came back. Are all these on freshwater? Yes, they are indeed. The Amazon, I believe, should be mostly freshwater ornamental fish. Okay, let's see. What are their strategies here? Ooh, I'm seeing stuff about diet. Cannibalism in farm fish is influenced by multiple environment and physiological factors, with food deficiency being one of the main triggers. Nutritional restriction is directly related to increased aggression and intensified cannibalistic behavior. So, feed your fish, man. They might stop killing each other. Food scarcity encourages dominant individuals to attack smaller ones as a way of accessing nutrients, aggravating intraspecific mortality. In addition, an inadequate supply of protein or essential amino acids, such as tryptophan, can compromise the synthesis of serotonin, the neurotransmitter responsible for modulating aggression, thus favoring the emergence of extreme territorial behavior between co-species. Therefore, proper nutritional management is an essential strategy to mitigate cannibalism in intensive aquaculture systems. Damn. So, you don't give your fish the right food, they don't got no serotonin? That's crazy. Oh my gosh, man. So here they have some predators of freshwater fry. So we have the great kingfisher, bullfrogs, dragonfly larvae, aquatic insects. They say Belostoma and Notonecta. What's this? Belostoma sp. Giant water bugs, also known as toe biters. Jesus Christ. No, thank you. And back swimmers. Okay, these are some fish fry. Ooh, water rats as well, and otters. And they have possible solutions for them too. So for the birds, they say like roofing, scarecrows, reflective tape, hanging nylon lines. Bullfrogs, they say fences around ponds, proper drainage, population control of larger fish. Dragonfly larvae, water filtration, proper liming, biological control, Milia acidarak extract. D1 Fish Guy said, oh, the Amazon no need to worry. I don't even order stuff for them. The platypus said, kingfishers are cool to watch. They hover over the water and dive bomb their food. Well, they're not cool to watch when they're eating your economic impact. For aquatic insects, they say use of fine mesh screens, regular drainage, and cleaning, biological control. And then for otters and water rats, they say electric or physical fencing, perimeter lighting, traps in areas, and dogs in the vicinity. All right. So we looked at some of the disease stuff, some of the predation stuff. Let's get to some of the reproduction stuff and some of the biology situation. What do they got to say about that? All right. Production systems. Here we go. Amazonian ornamental fish can be farmed using different systems ranging from extensive dugout ponds to highly technical systems such as recirculating aquaculture systems, RAS. So, extensive and semi-intensive systems. In rural areas, it's common to use excavated ponds, taking advantage of local water resources. In these systems, water is partially or totally renewed with low stocking density and feeding based, in part on the natural productivity of the environment. These systems require less initial investment, but offer less control over the environment, which can compromise the quality of ornamental fish. The recirculating systems have emerged as an efficient alternative. They allow precise control of temperature, oxygenation, pH, ammonia nitrite, and other parameters that are fundamental to the well-being of the fish. Despite high implementation costs, these systems are economically viable in the long term due to reduced water use and greater biosecurity, in addition to enabling high stocking densities. So you can do it out in the ponds, got to do lower density, less control. Do it inside, bigger investment, but you can do more density, more control, less water use. Money, money, money! In some cases, they're integrated with aquaponic systems, optimizing the use of nitrogenous waste. Water quality is a critical factor in any system. Species such as cardinal tetra are particularly sensitive to sudden changes, requiring a stable environment. Stocking density varies according to species and the system used. In recirculating systems, it's possible to work with higher densities, provided there's strict control of water quality and good aeration. In extensive systems, the density tends to be lower, in line with natural carrying capacity of the environment. I like the emphasis on water quality and how they are putting aeration separately. So water quality and aeration. So I do think part of why a lot of the fast-flowing fish like the fast-flowing water, that's probably really highly oxygenated. So, can never have too much air, right? Well, someone's going to be in the chat. Well, actually, you can die from too much air. Okay, calm down. Feeding should be appropriate for the species. Okay, we got Artemia or microworms. Okay, let's see what else they got to say. Tetras. Okay, specific handling in captivity. Amazonian tetras, such as the neon tetra, Parachirodon inisi, cardinal tetra, Parachirodon axorata, and the serpe tetra, Hyphisobricon equus, are among the most popular and widely traded species. They're small, social behavior that naturally live in shoals and are highly sensitive to environmental fluctuations. This demands strict management from the earliest stages of development. Keeping them in groups is essential as it fosters social behavior, reduces stress, and contributes to overall balance and stability of the aquarium, creating a healthy environment. A big part of why some fish need more or would be better off with more together could just be a function of the fact they're less stressed when there's more of them together. And that might just that level of stress might just be the difference between a potential disease or injury turning into a potential disease being something they naturally overcome or being something that they succumb to. So I do think people could generally benefit from having larger groups of the same fish. In general, these species are particularly sensitive to fluctuation in temperature, pH, and total ammonia concentrations, especially during the larval stage, which occurs in pelagic environments. Let me just look up pelagic again. Okay. As they do not exhibit parental care, eggs and larvae are left fully exposed to predation and to infections caused by fungi and bacteria. Larval feeding poses a major challenge as fry have a small buccal opening and high metabolic demands, requiring a continuous supply of live feeds such as rotifers or infusoria offered at densities of 10 to 15 individuals to milliliters. Feeding should be provided 5 to 6 times a day to avoid starvation. The initial rearing density for these tetras should not exceed 100 larvae to a liter, as overcrowding increases stress and mortality under controlled hatchery conditions. Survival rates from hatching to active feeding stage typically range from 30 to 60%, depending on the water quality. Damn, that's a big range. The difference between you having 60% of your fry survive but 30% survive is pretty massive. Additionally, the presence of green water or artificial shelters can help reduce visual stress and improve larval performance. Okay. Most tetra species are primarily carnivorous with omnivorous tendencies, feeding on microcrustaceans and insect larvae. During the dry season, they may also consume algae and plant detritus. There's a wide variety of feeds formulated for tetras, generally crude protein 35 to 45%, juveniles needing protein content above 40%. For breeding purposes or when dealing with less domesticated species, Alphatobius diaperinus larvae and microworms is ideal. They're gonna use common names and just bust out. What the? They're using the larva of some darkling beetles apparently. Okay, interesting. Okay, put this on the list. Because one of the first things that came up was a review of biological and sustainable management approaches for a major pest and poultry factory facilitation. Oh, these are mealworms. Okay. Enhances palatability, lesser mealworms, and provides essential amino acids and lipids important for gonadal development. So back on those, it always comes back to the amino acids, man. All popular tetra species are schooling fish with no distinguishable external sexual dimorphism and external fertilization without parental care. Eggs are typically adhesive or semi-adhesive and sink after spawning. Okay. Schooling fish, male to female ratio not particularly important. Forming a stable school is more crucial for maintaining a socially active group, at least 10 individuals per species, of each species per tank. Even when breeding is not the goal, maintaining them in groups is vital for their health. I wonder how many people that have issues keeping neon or cardinal tetras alive, I wonder how many people are buying less than 10. Maybe that's a factor. Maybe that's a factor in some of these fish that people have issues with, is they just need larger amounts. Individuals kept in small numbers may become stressed, exhibiting shy or lethargic behavior, or becoming aggressive when kept with smaller, more passive ones, or becoming stressed and lethargic when with larger species. In addition to social groupings, environmental enrichment is key. Okay. We got the dark colored water mentioned coming in here. Tetras are prone to diseases such as Colmenares and opportunistic infections by aeronomas and pseudomonas, particularly in conditions of overcrowding or inadequate management. Once these basic requirements are met, most tetra species exhibit docile and highly social behavior, often coexisting in sympatry with the wild and with a variety of other ornamental fish species. Well, look at this D1 fish guy with some anecdotal evidence. Yeah, at first I had issues with tetras till I bought them in groups. My wallet is about to cry because now every time I buy a group of fish that aren't in 10, you guys are going to be like, don't you remember when you told us? All right. We got to breed some cardinals this year, you know what I'm saying? I do need some more green neon tetras. I have 6, so basically I'm committing fish abuse. This is crazy. Chat, this is crazy. This is crazy, bro. You ever look in the mirror? You ever look in the mirror one day and, like, instead of the old ugly bastard you're used to, you saw a monster. A real monster. A fish abuser. Jeez, man. This is getting crazy. Cardinal tetras tolerate high temperatures up to 23 to 28 degrees Celsius in a broad pH range, 4 to 6. All right. We know this. Okay. They're going over specifically Parachirodon axelrodi, the cardinal tetras, and how to spawn them. Here we go. They require, that is the cardinals, right? Let me look this up. For some reason, I struggle with the Latin names of some of the most common fish. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, that's the cardinal. Okay, we're good. Studies indicate that manipulating the water parameters could stimulate the reproductive behavior. Among the recommended procedures, the gradual reduction of the water level over several days stands out. So, this is something that I think is known for many fish. I think this is a thing many people are familiar with, but I think there's room for more reinforcement on the fact that gradually lowering the water level over a few days is something helpful for certain fish. So lower the water level over a few days, followed by a sudden rise, simulating the onset of the rainy season. So for me, a bunch of fish right now, I'm thinking, I'm going to lower the water level every day when I see there's a rain forecast coming up, and when the rain comes, I'm going to fill it up. I already do water changes when it rains typically, but this maybe is just like the next level, right? This is like the next level of fish nerd. So the gradual reduction of water level over a few days stands out, followed by a sudden rise, simulating the onset of the rainy season, as well as adjusting the pH to a slightly acidic level, so lowering the pH from where it was and decreasing the electrical conductivity, conditions that mimic the species' natural breeding environments. The species spawns in batches, releasing eggs in groups. The eggs are adhesive. Oh, really? Interesting. Cardinal tetrad eggs are adhesive? Where's my pen? Yo, I gotta take another note. However, they're highly sensitive to environmental stressors such as blah, 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 which can cause gill lesions, and they're gonna all die immediately. Okay. Neon tetras, they love to eat. Juveniles require 53% crude protein in their diet. Lower levels can negatively affect growth performance. Optimal temperature for feeding ranges from 24 to 32 degrees Celsius, while 20 degrees Celsius significantly reduce values below 20 degrees Celsius significantly reduce intake of food. Apparently, the captive breeding of neon tetras is already well established, but still demands technical precision, especially in maintaining acidic soft water with stable physical and chemical parameters. Sexual maturity occurs between 5 and 6 months of ages. The species presents noticeable sexual dimorphism. Males exhibit slimmer bodies and a straight blue stripe, while females are more rounded with a curved blue stripe. So, if you didn't already know, neon tetras, man, yo, they got the curves on them. You already know what's about to go down. They typically spawn in the early morning and last 1 to 3 hours. Females lay 100 to 200 small, translucent, adhesive eggs. Under optimal conditions, 24 to 26 degrees Celsius, most eggs hatch within 22 to 26 hours. Yeah, my biggest motivation for raising temperatures on some things isn't even like, oh, it's not going to breed until then, because I'm breeding a lot of stuff at cooler temperatures. It's more just the speed of the development of eggs. Now, the speed of the development of eggs, for me, the benefit I would see is I'm impatient, so I'd have more fish faster. But then also, it's less time for them to get moldy or something like that, you know? Okay. So this is something that I think is important. Both eggs and larvae are highly sensitive to light and should be kept in low light or dark environments during incubation. So I've read this about certain killifish eggs. So this is a good note. Neon tetra eggs are sensitive to light, and the larvae as well. In laboratory settings, larva yields vary significantly depending on broodstock conditions and environmental parameters, and are generally lower under uncontrolled or outdoor conditions. Females typically undergo 5 to 6 reproductive cycles with 15 to 20 day intervals between spawning. For proper gonadal maturation, broodstock should be kept at 22 degrees Celsius before pairing. They get green water for the larva, and then 13 days post-hatch artemia. Or as early as 6 days, they use a feed. So we gotta hit up some of them Ziegler products. We need some of this aqua feed, man. But they say the neon tetras are a robust species. They made the cardinals sound like they're gonna die any second. They're just hyping up the neons here like crazy. Oh, they're a relatively robust species, tolerating moderate environmental fluctuations. But the cardinals are like, if it's a stiff wind, they're gonna just pass out and croak. All right, Hyphisobricon sp. Yo, Ross, did you not send me the picture of those fish, by the way? I'm looking for the pictures of the fish, and I'm not seeing them. Okay. The Hyphus adapt well. Tetra suffer from ick. Yep. Inert diets and live foods. Okay. Zooplankton and microalgae. All right. They wrote like nothing on these. This is interesting. It says these species need dissolved oxygen levels between 5.0 and 7.0 milligrams and can endure short periods with levels as low as 3.0. They exhibit shallow water breathing behavior utilizing the water-air interface to capture oxygen. Their gills possess specialized filaments that enhance respiratory efficiency. Metabolic oxygen demand increases significantly at 28 degrees Celsius, making it necessary to adjust dissolved oxygen levels. Optimal environmental parameters include temperature between 24 and 26, acidic pH, and water hardness between 22 and 31 ppm, and the pH range is 5.5 to 8.0. Interesting. They didn't write much about the Hyphus, but we got the interesting note about them in oxygen. All right, Amazonian cichlids. Okay, let's see. So we got some discus here. Got nanocichlids. Okay, Pistogramma, omnivorous, a diet mainly based on small benthic invertebrates. Get some aquatic isopods, bro. Don't gotta get them from Conrad, get them from Captain's Critters, Aquapods LLC, I don't care. When you feed the Pistogrammas aquatic isopods, you can tell that this is all they fucking eat all day. Let me tell you. I remember I first fed in a pisto, one of the isopods. That fish looks so fucking happy killing that. The species is omnivorous with a diet based mainly on small benthic invertebrates such as insect larvae and microcrustaceans, as well as organic debris. In captivity, it accepts live food, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so wide range of parameters. Reproduction occurs in cavities such as leaves or logs. Females lay up to 100 eggs. Say parental care is exclusive to female who protects eggs and larvae, while male guards the territory. Hatching occurs 48 and 72 hours, and the fry become independent after 7 to 10 days. During the larval and juvenile stages, these fish require environments with shelter and spatial structure that allows for the division of territory, since constant proximity between individuals can cause aggression. D1's fish says, buy sea monkeys and feed them. Indeed. That's the Artemia, man. Absolutely. Competition for food between fry is intense, and is exacerbated by asymmetrical growth in social hierarchy. This requires food to be divided into multiple daily portions and batches to be segmented by size. Okay. Alright. Inadequate overcrowding and insufficient food could lead to cannibalism and spread of diseases with opportunistic pathogens. Okay, man. This is an interesting paper. Oh, whoa. We got some fancy plecos. What are they talking about? A fish of clear water rivers, catfish are adapted to flowing environments with transparent water and a wide availability of logs and especially rocks. Although most species prefer a slightly acidic pH, most adapt to neutral water. Most species are fully spawning and polygynous, where the males attract the female to his burrow to spawn and responsible for the parental care of eggs. Ooh, Otocinclus. Alright, after we read Otocinclus, I'm closing out for this paper. I'm pinning the link in the chat. You can finish it out for yourself. The family Loricaridae comprehends a wide diversity of armored catfish widely distributed across South America. Among them, the genus Otocinclus stands out with species such as Aphanus and Vittatus, which we were reading about earlier. The latter occurring in the Amazon basin. Properly known as a glass cleaner, Otocinclus is a small Amazonian catfish widely used in planted aquariums due to its algae consumption. Its body is elongated with a flattened belly and sucker-shaped mouth. It's peaceful, gregarious, and feeds on algae and plant debris. Reproduction is oviparous, with demersal spawning on smooth surfaces without parental care. Given their small size, Otocinclus species show opportunistic reproductive behavior with partial spawning and relative high fecundity. Okay, I just cited this paper. I'm putting what they cited for that in the chat because I want to look that up later. Other notable laricards including Hypostomus Pluxstomus, and a robust species reaching up to 30 centimeters in length, commonly found in slow-flowing rivers and floodplain lakes. It is detrivorous, feeding on organic matter and algae scraped from submerged surfaces. Reproduction occurs in cavities or burrows dug in riverbanks where eggs are deposited, and males may exhibit some degree of parental care by guarding the nest. Ancestris cirrhosis, the bristlenose pleco. No, we're not reading about the bristlenose pleco. Hypancistris zebra. Oh my gosh. Demersal species, omnivorous, tends to be detrivorous, and reproduces in a substrate-hidden manner with parental care exercised by the male. Okay, did they mention Otocinclus any other part in the paper? Because if not, we're going to call it a wrap. And I'm going to put this link in the chat. I'm going to hit the hay. I got a whole life to deal with tomorrow. Holy. Here we go. They got a table of all the reproductive strategies here. So we got posture and surfaces without parental supervision for the Otocinclus. Ooh, silver arowana, paternal mouth incubation. I didn't know arowanas were mouth brooders. It makes sense. But that's just not. It's not a fact that stuck in my brain for whatever reason. Okay, anything else about Otocinclus? Here it says that Otocinclus are some of the ones that exhibit high reproductive diversity. Otos are known for having small translucent eggs with incubation times 36 to 40 hours, a temperature of 25 degrees Celsius. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So, link to this paper is in the chat. Shout out to these guys. Pretty awesome thing to read through. A lot of information, 218 pages. If you guys are with me still, shout out to you. We managed to hit 3 hours again. Let's go. Hardest working. This was a nice one. I feel like I learned a lot. And let's breed some Otos this year. Let's breed 3 Otos this year. Okay? Read up. Join the Discord, or just if you're replay crew, if you're watching this back, leave a comment. Let us know if we missed something that we're reading. You have a reaction about the auction. Feel free to just leave comments as you watch, as if it was live. I do enjoy when people share their thoughts, even if they missed the live. But okay, be back soon. Again, some things coming up. I want to escape some tanks on stream. We got 4 different products from Higer coming that we'll do something with on stream. I want to bring some guests on, but seriously, Jorge's got a good lineup. The 10-gallon tank guy on the 16th at 8 p.m., I believe, and got Elite Menagerie Habitat's owner Louise on the 17th. Definitely check that out. Zebra Quark says, awesome stream. Appreciate you, man. And shout out to ACM for the auction. Good stuff. And if you're in the area this Sunday, right? My club that I'm involved in, the Aquarius Society of Central Maryland, we're meeting. We're having our usual mini swap. I'll probably put up the post too soon where people say what they can bring and what they're looking for. We'll all get together, trade some stuff, and I think we're doing a hobby-related resolution bingo. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes, but it should just be a chill time, hanging out, talking some fish. So if you're in the area, feel free to stop by and talk to me about how I don't know how to spell Otos with 1 T, and I put 2 T's in the title. I'm gonna change it. I'm gonna fix it. I don't want it. No one comment, hey, we know that you got it wrong, okay? You can't fool us. Let's just let this one slide, okay? D1 said, have a good night. Thanks for the info. I appreciate you in the chat. D1 guy holding it down. Beto says, I'm a fan of bingo. We call it lotteria. That sounds a lot more fun. I'm not gonna lie. That sounds a lot more fun. But okay. I'm headed out. It's been a good time. In my tanks, the chat, Beto, D1, Zebra, JP, Mexicali, Louise, to Platypus was in here. Holy, we got Tempered Tanks in here. Big Steve, of course. A couple of fish not showing the screen. Thank you, appreciate you, my guy. And Mick, hope you feel better soon, my friend. Atkins with the dad jokes. Jesse, you better not give Steve 50% ever again. Flash, appreciate the plants. Ross, send me the where's the pics of the fish, man? Where's the pics? And Aaron, he stopped by for 2 seconds to pretend he cares about us. All right, so look, appreciate you all. Be back soon. Hardest working fish stream 2026. And